right. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, Nick?
Made it to week 5.
Made it to week 5. Yes, I did.
This always happens with the NFL season. It always goes too fast. We're officially going to pass the quarter pole at some point this week. It used to always be week 4, right? Now week 17. I'm not going to do the calculations of when it exactly happens. But
yeah, you're supposed to be the guy that's good at math here too.
Who said that?
I don't know. I'm making
That was
things
never
up as I go along.
that was never an agreement. Anyway, but week 5 is upon us. Some trends from the early part of the season. We have a little bit more to go off of now, as far as like we're not just looking at last year to lean on how to figure out how to set up the lineup. We have trends from this year. But I guess the big news right now is probably George Kittle, right? Goes on IR.
It's one of the pieces of the big news. I mean, we got Seattle too, but yeah, keep going.
Seattle's been, well, that's a little more known now. Russell Wilson's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Mallet finger. There's like so many injuries I feel like I've heard this season where I'm like, I haven't heard that one before.
It looks like torn ligaments and a dislocation and a fracture.
Mm-hmm. It sounds pretty bad. It looked pretty gnarly. It sounds pretty gnarly. So
yeah, we take questions. Put your question in the chat. We'll answer all the questions that come through the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's going on, bro?
Just setting the tone, for now. But yeah, Russ out 6 to 8 weeks. It's the Geno Smith show unless Seattle makes a move at the position, which I can't imagine they do. They probably are.
No,
do they have a first-round pick this year because of the Jamal Adams trade, or is that done?
I'm not sure, but I don't think they make a move. No.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2-3. I know it's still early, but the division looks great. The Cardinals look great. The Rams just got them on the road. The 49ers are hurting again. Seems to be an annual thing with their team, unfortunately. But there's 2 excellent teams at the top of that division, so maybe they don't do anything. So yeah, some big injuries in the landscape right now.
Yeah, I mean Chris Carson, we didn't touch on that situation in Seattle too.
A neck injury,
right? That's scary. I have long-term concerns now about at least for this season. Anytime you hear about a neck injury, that doesn't sit right. I got a video coming out about this whole situation with Carson tomorrow, and the neck injury, that's ambiguous, but it looks like it's a neck herniation, a disc herniation in his neck, and it looks like he's been dealing with it for multiple games, because in every single game this year his snap count has gone down, and last week he didn't play. This week he doesn't look like he's playing. I don't think it's
gone on IR yet.
He's not on IR yet, but I think they were hoping that he would have gotten better by now.
Right.
That a little rest and relaxation would have done him some good. It doesn't look like that's the case. I think now they put him on IR. Now maybe it's surgery time.
I mean, it could be a situation where the Seahawks decide, like, one, right, we got to look out for the player's health, but 2, they're officially like in an evaluation mode right now. Like, let's see what else we have.
And next year they can cut him and save $5 million on their cap.
Even
just under, yeah.
Even after signing him.
Yep.
To a contract. So, yeah, not fun times in Seattle right now. I guess with a couple NFC West teams in general. But it looks like we got a first question, John.
Yeah, hey, George Kittle doesn't suck, bro.
Well, that's not a question.
I know. I just saw it.
He's just injury. He's had injury issues.
He doesn't suck. He's been one of the most utilized tight ends in the league thus far, before sustaining this injury and going on IR. He just hadn't hit the end zone, but he's still great. Yeah, and he'll be great when he comes back.
He'll be fine. Week 8, week 9, it might be a little bit, but I mean, he's still a top 3 or 4 tight end.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but we got Vernon Weston, full PPR, flex, Brian Edwards, Jeremy McNichols, or Kenneth Gainwell.
I think you go Gainwell. I think you go Gainwell there. I expect the Eagles to be trailing once again. I expect Gainwell to be cutting into Miles Sanders' snap share once again, catching passes. getting valuable targets, valuable looks. Brian Edwards hasn't done much in the past couple of weeks.
It looks like the Hunter Renfrow show out there.
Yeah, for real.
And Henry Ruggs to a lesser extent.
Right, and then with McNichols, I mean, they're playing Jacksonville. I don't see a situation where this isn't the Derrick Henry show.
And Darrington Evans comes back this week, so that's something he's gonna eat into that target share. And Antonio Brown and AJ Brown looks like he's trending towards playing this week as well. I know Julio's still out, but a lot of those targets that were going Jeremy McNichols' way out of necessity just won't be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'd go Gainwell.
I'd go Gainwell too.
Right. I mean, the Eagles are not good, which means more passing, more throws, and they've clearly decided that they go to Gainwell there. They're not using Miles Sanders there. So Miles Sanders is like a matchup-based RB3 these days.
The thing is, he's still getting the majority of the work. It's just he's not doing anything with them thus far. But he's still playing the majority of the snaps. He's still getting the majority of the work. Kenny Gainwell's just doing way more with minimal touches.
Mm-hmm.
Do I expect that to continue? Yeah. I expect Miles Sanders to have better days.
Sure.
But it could start looking more and more like a 50-50 split instead of 60-40, which is what it's been thus far.
Yeah, I mean it's trending toward much more of a timeshare. And if the Eagles are going to be trailing a lot in games and they prefer Gainwell in the third down role, they don't seem to be going away from that. So yeah, he's a solid flex play in if you have a couple of flex spots, or maybe you're just decimated by injuries or whatever the case. It's just like whoever you have available who's healthy, maybe that's the situation. Or maybe it's a league with an extra flex spot or whatever.
Yeah.
He's viable. He's absolutely viable. Panthers are good on defense. But
yep,
they won't do nothing, the Eagles.
Hey, User Nerd, what's going on, bro?
What's up, User Nerd?
He asks, Elijah Mitchell or Emmanuel Sanders in your flex?
Emmanuel Sanders has Arizona.
The Bills are going up against KC.
Sanders are going against Kansas City.
Right.
Probably Sanders, right? Probably
I would go Sanders because
probably
even in
Sanders.
2 wide sets, he's out there.
Yeah.
In the sets that they're playing more tight end sets, 2 tight end sets, he's still out there as the second wide receiver. Mm-hmm. So over a guy like Cole Beasley. So yeah, Emmanuel Sanders, he's the safe one. He's the safe bet.
Chiefs have allowed a lot of production.
That game's going to be a shootout.
To running backs,
that game's going to be a shootout.
It's a plus matchup for receivers.
Yeah.
They're giving up like 26 fantasy points per game to wide receivers.
And I like Elijah Mitchell, but I'd go Emmanuel Sanders here, and that's not
because
he's
coming back. Coming back after like a 2 game absence. So
right.
let's see what that backfield looks like before we dip back into it. I don't know if it's going to be the Trey Sermon show again, or if Mitchell sprinkles in, or
I don't think it's going to be the Trey Sermon. I don't think it's going to be the Trey Sermon show again. I think everybody's going to have their roles, but I think Elijah Mitchell's going to have the largest piece of that pie. But I'd still go Emmanuel Sanders there.
And Trey Lance is in now, so there's going to be more designed runs for him.
Right.
So it could be kind of a gross committee.
Yeah. But hey, you're welcome.
Right.
Thanks for the question, and thanks for tuning in. And Lark McFlorg, he's got a question. Need some help here. Pick 2 running backs: CEH, Zach Moss, Damian Harris. And pick a flex: Marquise Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Marvin Jones.
So the Bills have been good on defense this year, but I don't think I can sit Clyde. He's on a little bit of a run right now. Well, okay, so the Bills are actually they're in the top 8 in running back points allowed so far this year. So it is a tough matchup, but it's the Chiefs at home and Clyde back-to-back 100-yard games.
Last year when the Bills played the Chiefs, CEH ran all over the Bills, and then that was CEH's last real big game of the season. You remember he started off super hot and then cooled off in the middle there. That last big game that he had was against the Bills. I think the same logic applies. I think the Bills are going to go into this game thinking as long as Tyreek Hill doesn't beat us, and as long as Travis Kelce doesn't beat us, if we can keep it to CEH beating us, we can handle that. And I think
CEH is going to have run around a little bit.
I think
CEH
is going to have a day.
And Kelce.
I think CEH is going to have a day. And out of Zach Moss and Damian Harris, who are the Patriots playing?
So I originally had Damian Harris pegged as my start of the week this week. They're playing Houston. The issue with the Patriots right now is 4 of their 5. Here's the one thing: 4 of their 5 offensive linemen are out. Here's the other side of that coin: they haven't been that good anyway. The Patriots offensive line, outside of Shaq Mason, who is out, so that's a big loss for them. But David Andrews has been their other really good player on the offensive line. He's healthy. He's fine. So Harris has a plus matchup still just because it's Houston. You know, Belichick eats rookie quarterbacks alive. I expect short fields for the Patriots. I think Harris should have more opportunities to come through on some volume. Zach Moss could be fine, but this could be a game where he just doesn't see a ton of work as a result of the Bills constantly throwing because they're playing Kansas City. They throw all the time anyway, but they're not going to shut out this is not going to be 35-0 against the Dolphins or 40-0 against Houston. No. This is going to be a game.
But
running opportunities are going to be fewer for
Iago Barreto comes through with the question, isn't that what every team does? They let CEH go and try to lock down Kelce and Hill.
They can try.
They try, but the Bills' defense is one that actually can
They're a little
kind
better
of do
equipped.
that. They have a lockdown corner in Trey White, and they have the all-around defense to be able to actually execute that game plan. They showed it last season. The only thing is, CEH was good enough to beat him last year, right? Kelce still went off.
Right.
So they weren't able to do that, but that's going to be the game
Clyde
plan.
And Harris. I think I go Clyde and Harris.
Clyde and Harris, because they're not going to use Moss. The Bills are not going to utilize Moss and need Moss as much in this game. They're going to, I think, go Josh Allen heavy.
If game script goes the way we expect, yeah.
Right, and then pick a flex.
I'm going Hollywood.
You're going Hollywood, even in a game where Rashad Bateman should be back?
I thought he wasn't activated off IR. It doesn't matter.
Was he not?
The Colts are a great matchup. The Colts are a great matchup for opposing wide receivers. Well, 28 fantasy points per game to opposing wide receivers. The Colts give up. I mean, that's who I'm going with.
Marvin Jones.
DJ
Chark was top 5 in air yards through the game until he got injured. So through 4 weeks. A lot of those air yards are going to go to Marvin Jones.
We've been on this for a little bit. Real quick, still King T. I would go Jamison Crowder over Robbie Anderson. Anderson just he needs to show something, like literally any type of signs of life. I would go Crowder against the Falcons. So just wanted to get that one out of the way real quick because we've been on Lark's question a little bit. So just wanted to get that out there.
That's a two-part question. But yeah.
I would go Hollywood. Let me double check on Rashad Bateman. I wasn't sure that he was going to be activated this week, and even if he is, how much can we actually expect him to play? He's still on IR. I would go Hollywood as the clear number 1 receiver for the Ravens in a great matchup at home. I know Marvin Jones has a great matchup as well. I guess I would believe in Lamar a little bit more than I do Trevor Lawrence. The Jags are gross right now with all the Urban Meyer shit.
They are.
Give me Marquise Brown. Give me Marquise Brown there.
Yeah, they are a mess. Actually, I wasn't even factoring that into the situation. Their whole game plan being a mess because their coaching staff and coaches.
They'll play. They'll play. They'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd probably go Marquise Brown, but I still think Marvin Jones is a great play.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
They're both good options. I would lean Hollywood. John, would you lean Marvin Jones?
I'd probably lean Hollywood, but Marvin Jones it's hard to sit Marvin Jones right now. It's really hard to sit Marvin Jones.
He was kind of quiet last game. and Chark went out of that game early, and Hollywood bounced back. I'm a little bit more inclined to go Hollywood. So Clyde, Harris, Hollywood. That's my final answer.
Vernon Weston, TE spot, Juno or Conklin? I don't know. Who's Juno?
I assume that means Janu.
Janu. Okay, right.
Patriots are playing Houston, so
Conklin
he could get it
there. I think you go Conklin.
You think Conklin? I was kind of inclined to say Conklin. I was just say Janu first because I was just thinking to myself, like, who are the matchups? Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's playing the Lions. Detroit gives up, a decent amount of production to the tight end spot. Houston gives up more.
Yeah, but my whole issue there is that they got another tight end that they use more in receiving in receiving formations.
With Conklin, though, I feel like it goes back and forth between him and KJ Osborne with, like, who's going to have a week,
And last week, Jonnu Smith had a game. Last week, both of the tight ends had a touchdown and did well receiving. You think that swings back? How is Jacoby Myers, by the way? Is Jacoby Myers... Is he okay?
You mean like health-wise?
Yeah. Is he all the way good? I heard rumblings that
he's not on the injury report.
Okay.
So you would go Conklin?
Yeah.
Jonnu has the better matchup. Conklin might be in like.
Jonnu has the better matchup.
The better offense.
I don't think they're gonna need to.
They might not need him all that much.
I think it's a running back game. I think Houston's a running
Conklin
back.
Conklin feels fine as like an upside play.
Yeah. But thanks for the question, Vernon. JP, what's going on? Should I start Trey Lance or Sam Darnold? Kirk Cousins is also on the waiver wire. I would start Sam Darnold because he's been hot.
He has been hot. League leader in touchdown runs.
Right, and
Sam Darnold.
Why would he stop right now? I think you start him until he has great matchups moving forward up until the fantasy playoffs. We went over this last time we were on. This is a guy you advocated selling at the deadline. Sam Darnold.
Oh, because of the not as good, because of the not as good
playoff schedule, right? But I think you play him up until then.
Yeah, you know what? I would go Darnold. I'm so tempted to say Trey Lance because of the rushing upside, but it's a bad matchup. It's not a good matchup. He's down George Kittle, so that's one less guy in the passing game that he can, lean on.
Is Garoppolo 100% not playing?
No, it's the Trey Lance show. He's getting his first start.
All right.
He's getting his first start.
That's fun.
It is fun, but I'm still on Sam Darnold. The Eagles are a better matchup against opposing quarterbacks. Arizona's tougher, and Trey Lance is getting his first start. I would be fine with riding Darnold. No Christian McCaffrey, so
right.
They may have to air it out a little bit more, or they may throw a little bit more, or maybe Darnold continues to run a little bit more. So Darnold's fine there.
Yeah, I like Darnold there still. Mm-hmm. Even though Trey Lance, that is an exciting start. It's enticing.
Yeah, I would go Darnold.
And to your second question, should I start Hunter Henry, Conklin, or Max Williams full PPR? I think you go Hunter Henry. If you were on the fence about Jonnu versus Conklin, then why wouldn't you go on the more pass happy tight end in New England? Why wouldn't you be on that?
Well, I guess the line of thinking there was like they're not going to. It's easy to just say like, oh, they're not going to need this guy, they're not going to need that guy. But the reason they're not going to need somebody is because somebody else is going to come through. I guess I slightly lean Henry. It's a toss-up between who's going to perform with those two tight ends. To your point, it's a much more likelihood that those two cannibalize each other than Conklin does with, whoever that tight end two is in Minnesota. So,
yeah.
I mean, Henry caught a touchdown last week. If you want to ride the hot hand,
I like Henry more than I like Jonnu. Okay. From a fantasy perspective in 2021, I'm not talking about overall what they bring to the table. And I think it's enough to tip the scales for me there to where I would play Hunter Henry over Conklin in that situation, but I would not play Jonnu Smith over Conklin.
Okay.
But as long as Hunter Henry is healthy, that was always the question with him. Is he healthy? When he's healthy, he's startable. He was the same way on the Chargers. Mm-hmm. And Marcucci, Mooney or Tony? Go Mooney. Without even thinking about it too hard. You got to go Mooney. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks like Justin Fields' number one guy right now.
Favorite target, yeah.
Right. And Tony is a start out of necessity. Mooney is a start because he's good.
Yeah,
because he earned the spot.
Yeah. Mooney's a starter because he's a starter. Tony's a starter because there's 2 injuries ahead of him.
Yep,
Mooney.
Still King T. What do you think about Jonathan Taylor rest of season? What do you think, bro?
What did he come through with last week? He did score, right, on a pretty good run. I mean, it's a tough match. He's going against Baltimore Monday night, so that's tough. But here's the thing. Taylor, right, he's going to get a ton of volume, so there's going to be plenty of weeks where he's going to come through on volume. But if Quentin Nelson is out of the lineup and Carson Wentz is being Carson Wentz most weeks, there are going to be factors that are out of Taylor's control that are going to hold him back. The Colts need Quentin Nelson back. He is a major, major part of what they do on offense. Might be their best player on offense, which you don't say about a guard too often. But no. Quentin Nelson is so crucial to what the Colts want to do on offense. He needs him back. It's going to still get, like you said, John, workhorse. It's going to get plenty of volume.
Yep.
But Nyheim Hines mixes in if the Colts are trailing, which is going to happen more often this year for 2 reasons. One, the Colts defense doesn't look as good as it was last year.
Not at all.
And 2, Carson Wentz isn't as good as Phillip Rivers, so it's going to be harder for the offense to sustain drives. So it's going to be tougher some weeks than it was last year. But if the Colts continue to commit to Taylor, which they should, he'll deliver. But he's not as much of a slam dunk as he was like in the second half of the season last year, or whatever that last 6-game stretch where he went full beast mode.
No, he's not an RB1 anymore. It's
going to be tougher.
But he's a high-end RB2.
RB1. He'll have RB1 weeks, but
absolutely,
it's going to be a little bit more inconsistent.
Yeah. Yep. And Lark, hey, you're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your question.
Yeah.
If you have any more questions, let us know. And just a reminder to everybody out there, this is usually a stream that we have on Sundays at 10 a.m., but we're doing this because of the London games. It's on during
There's a London game
time
that
slot.
Y'all probably be watching. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
We are still going to try to be on after the games, or after the London game before 1 p.m. So come tune in there then if you have any other questions. But and we also have a stream on Tuesday, 6 p.m.
Waiver help,
wire.
Trade help.
Yep. And Nate McGuire, what do y'all think about Michael Pittman going forward? I like him a lot.
Yeah, I like him a lot too.
I think his future is bright. I do.
Yeah,
I think he needs a new quarterback.
Number one receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Wentz is playing better than he was last year. Not that that's difficult.
It's not saying much.
Right. But Pittman's getting volume. He's getting volume. So that's always good for a number one wide receiver. There will be weeks where, again, the Colts struggle on offense this year. But if this is like a dynasty question or rest of season question, he's fine. Dynasty question,
he's a young receiver.
Great. Yeah.
With a bright future. He has 2 back-to-back 12 target games and then followed that up with an 8 target game. He's getting the volume, and that's all you can ask. The quality of that volume is suspect because, again, Carson Wentz. But he's the number one there, and it's not even a question.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks for the question, Nate.
Yeah. JP,
the Patriots have 4 offensive linemen out. Does that mean they will throw more or run more?
I think it still means I think their game plan doesn't change too much. the effectiveness of an offensive line does not always directly correlate to running back production. You don't need a stellar offensive line.
That does further sway my point in the fact that they're going to need Jonnu in to block. They brought Jonnu in from the Titans to be more of a blocking tight end than a receiving tight end, and we've seen that play out through 4 weeks.
Might be more 12 personnel.
Right, if they don't have blocking. When they're running, if they don't have starting O-linemen, they're going to have their tight ends in to block more. They're going to have specifically Jonnu Smith in to block more. Mm-hmm. But continue your point.
I think they'll be fine. I do think they'll be fine running the ball despite all of the guys that are out. The Shaq Mason loss hurts. He's been good. But outside of that, the rest of the Patriots offensive line has not been great. Their center, David Andrews, has been good, and he's healthy and he's in. So I think there's enough there where I still feel okay about Harris and them running the ball. They may throw a little bit more, maybe they throw a little bit more. They're going to have to be, creative and smart. Mac Jones is going to have to get the ball out quick. Obviously, you're asking multiple backups to step up, but it's still a plus matchup for the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't think their game plan changes that much.
Not that much.
They run what they run. They're kind of stubborn like that, or their coaching staff is.
Their defense is going to win them the game tomorrow, and it's going to set up the offense. So, short fields, all that. They'll be fine.
AS, Claypool or Randall Cobb in full PPR?
Yeah, Claypool is an incredible talent, but it's the production's really up and down right now because he could be the wide receiver one. Yeah. Roethlisberger's been awful, and I don't expect that to change. He just looks like he's cooked. And any given week, Claypool can be the wide receiver one on that team. Any given week, he could be the 3.
And he hasn't had the boom weeks that he had last season. At around this time in the season.
Coming off an injury, it's first game back coming off an injury. He's probably fine, but yeah, I don't know. As far as PPR, Cobb, I mean, it's a good matchup. He only had one game, though. I think I'm inclined to say Claypool. If Claypool's healthy,
one game came with MVS on IR, right? So the one game he saw, it was because a wide receiver that is still going to be out was out. So I think that the snap count continues. At least he'll replicate the snap count that he had in week 4 and week 5 and week 6 until MVS comes back, and then we can have that discussion. But Randall Cobb, I think, is the play there in full PPR. Who else are they passing opponent. To? Is Bob Tonyan healthy?
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Bengals and Broncos are the opponents of the Packers and Steelers, respectively. They're pretty much like neck and neck as far as points allowed to wide receivers. I think I lean Claypool because of the big play upside. If you want to lean Cobb, then we're at odds there.
I think full PPR, you got to go Cobb, chase those points. He has the rapport with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers can throw past the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Where does Claypool succeed? On long bombs. Part of the problem with Ben Roethlisberger is he doesn't have the long bomb arm anymore. And the O-line is so bad that he doesn't have the time to even let plays develop down the field. Even when Claypool I think he had a game where he had 12 targets. He didn't do crap. He didn't do anything with them. He still had a wide receiver 2 week, because how do you not have a wide receiver 2 week on 12 targets? But you still, it should have been a lot more.
To that point, I think I would still go Claypool, because there should be weeks where he should come through. I think I still go Claypool. Now, we can pitch it to the chat, too, if we want. What's the chat think between Claypool and Randall Cobb? I think I go Claypool. John's leaning Randall Cobb.
Claypool's probably the way that most people would go. I'm no contrarian there.
Okay.
I would go Randall Cobb. Theo Von Miller, someone dropped Mims in Dynasty, and I scooped him up. Did you see his interview the other day? What do you think of his situation? I did not see his interview the other day.
I missed
his
the interview.
Situation is rough.
I
think he needs a change of scenery.
He needs a new
he needs
place,
to get out there, out of there, because I think he's a good wide receiver. I just think he's in a scheme that doesn't translate to his strengths. And they have other wide receivers there who are...
There's just too many guys ahead of him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he just needs to get off. I think he needs to get off the Jets somewhere else.
He's had a weird amount of roadblocks in his just this past offseason, right? So I kind of feel for him. I think he's a lot better than the fantasy community feels about him. But yeah, I hope he gets
he needs a
chance
start
somewhere else soon. I hope he doesn't have to wait until his rookie deal is over, you know. But yeah, Kel's 22, Robbie Anderson, Marquez Callaway, Khalif Raymond, pick one to start. I don't think you go back to the well with Khalif Raymond.
I guess I would say Callaway by default.
Yeah,
I would go Callaway
because he's the number one there.
He's the number one. Just hope for the best.
Right. I know last game he only had 2 targets, but he caught both of them and had 70-some yards. So
yeah,
maybe you hope for something like that again.
Yeah, I'd go for Callaway.
AS Brissett versus Tampa or Teddy Bridgewater versus the Steelers? I'd go Teddy because Teddy's been on fire. I know the Steelers are tough, but
I think I'd go Jacoby for the best. Yeah, the Bucks are bad. The Bucks are bad against the pass right now.
Jacoby is bad.
Well,
Teddy's better. But Teddy's been great this year.
I think it's
almost a toss-up.
Actually, it's not. Actually, it's a little closer than I thought, as far as like quarterback points allowed. Almost 24 fantasy points per game does Tampa give up to opposing quarterbacks. It's about 21 for Pittsburgh, so it's close. Teddy might be down Cortland Sutton tomorrow. Sutton would he roll his ankle in practice? He's like questionable now.
But
at least Jacoby's got. Well, he's down Will Fuller, but he's still got Jalen Waddle. I'm not sure what Devontae Parker's situation is. I feel like he might have been 50-50 this week.
They're both fine.
I mean, if you, that's tough.
I'm gonna go stick to my guns and go Teddy Bridgewater there. It's close. It's very close, but I'm gonna go Teddy there. It doesn't feel good playing a quarterback against the Steelers.
It doesn't. That's why I'm so hesitant.
It feels a lot better playing a quarterback against Tampa, but I still think you go
road.
Better quarterback.
Actually, they're both on the road. Teddy is the better quarterback. Yeah. So Teddy's the better quarterback.
And the Steelers haven't been what we've seen in the past thus far through 4 games.
All right, fine. Slight nod to Teddy.
Marcus Brown, what are your opinions about Elijah Moore and Michael Carter this week?
I mean, is Moore healthy? I keep looking at my phone.
Concussion? Isn't he concussed?
Practices in full on Thursday. He's going to play.
All right.
He's going to play.
I would go Michael Carter over Elijah Moore.
It's a great matchup for both. I think Michael Carter may have taken this job, finally taken the backfield job. So there's definitely, there's some weight there. There's some value there. And it's a great matchup against Atlanta. And the Jets came to life a little bit last week against Tennessee. So, at least one of them should have a decent day. And I don't think we're being asked to predict which one. I mean, I like Moore. I definitely like Moore. Carter, I'm not sure about, but I mean, running backs don't need to be all-stars to come through with volume.
I would rather play Michael Carter over Elijah Moore, even though the matchup is good, just because we haven't seen Moore do it yet. Jamison Crowder is back in the fold for the second time this season, second or third. I think it's second. And he's seen a significant amount of volume. I think it'll be third, actually, thus far through 2 games. I think the edge goes Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, then Elijah Moore in the pecking order from a receiving perspective, and I think Michael Carter is the number 1. He's the number 1 running back. So edge to me with both of those guys would be to go Michael Carter.
If you're between the two of them,
yep,
sure, that's fine. Plus with Crowder playing, just it's more crowded. So yeah, Carter should come, should be able to come through in some capacity tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for turning on the notifications.
Yeah,
King T, thanks for thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your questions.
For tuning in.
And thanks to the other guys that said thank you too.
Joe's the Jacks loss across the pond game. Well, that's not for a couple more weeks, or I don't remember when the Jags play over there, but they will eventually.
They always do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kells 22. What's up, Kells?
CEH or AB in the flex.
What's the
tough.
Scoring? What's the scoring?
That's actually tough because AB was like 2 grabs away from having 10 receptions and 2 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah,
last week.
Brady just missed him.
Right, in the rain. In the rain. It was raining like crazy. He was coming off having COVID, and he missed 2 balls.
If it's half or full PPR, I think I'm inclined to say AB. If it's standard, maybe I say Clyde.
It's tough to say Clyde, especially in a game where I think he's going to have a lot of work, but I think I agree with you. I think I go AB.
I go AB. Once again. No, Bucks are at home.
Yep. I think I go AB. Brandon Hooker with Hawkinson banged up. Should I start Gaskin instead? Gasicki's been getting a ton of targets.
I think you have to. I don't think Hawkinson's going to play. They elevated. I don't remember who the tight end was. They elevated a tight end today. The Lions did. I think that's a bad sign for Hawk. I think he's out this week. I think you fire up Gasicki regardless.
Yeah, I like Gasicki a lot. Lately, he's been getting a ton of targets.
Gonna get a ton of volume.
You can't hate on his volume. Yeah, it's been real nice for him.
Yep.
Weird. They're I think it was their 3rd round pick, Hunter Long, tight end, or 4th round pick. Hasn't even seen the field yet. No. He's their 5th tight end right now. It's weird.
4th round pick. Oh, thanks, Marcus.
Hey, Marcus, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks so much. I don't see a question, but if you've got one, drop one.
Absolutely. Dylan Barcelo, pick 3. Allen, Patterson, Thielen, Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, and Higgins, full PPR.
I'm going to assume that's Keenan Allen.
Cordell Patterson, Adam Thielen.
He's in your lineup.
Corey Davis, in your lineup. Right? Not Gabe Davis, I'm assuming.
I think the first 3.
Patterson's going to get a ton of work. Patterson is going to get a ton of work
3.
next game.
Allen, Patterson, and then Thielen. Thielen's just a safe, steady guy who is always a threat to catch 2 scores, not 1.
Yeah.
I think the first 3.
Yep. Corey Davis
Let's see Higgins.
Is now duking it out with 4 other wide receivers now that Jameson is back and Elijah Moore is back because Keelan Cole is there too. Emmanuel Sanders is a nice play this week, but not over those other 3. And is T. Higgins back?
Yeah, he's back.
He's back?
Let's see how that shakes out.
I would still go Keenan Allen, wide receiver 1. Cordell Patterson, wide receiver 1, running back 1 with dual eligibility, right?
Yeah.
And Thielen, wide receiver 1 over all those guys. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
AS, Geno Smith better than Heineke or Teddy rest of season? I don't think Fitz takes over when Taylor when he's back.
If Russ is going to miss the rest of the season, which has not been confirmed. We're at a 6 to 8 week time frame right now, but at least for now, he might be. You're talking about great weapons in Seattle, and he can run a little bit. Geno can definitely run a little bit. I think he runs a little bit more than he can run a little bit more than Teddy, not significantly. And the DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett.
I think it's Heineke.
Man,
I think Heineke's better than Geno Smith, and you're looking at me weird.
I'm
really?
talking about. This is just fantasy. We're not talking about who's the best NFL quarterback.
I know, dude, but Geno Smith, really? First off, Russell Wilson is not getting shut down.
No, he'll come back. When he's healthy, it's his job. Even if the Seahawks are out of it, Russ is going to play, I would think.
Yeah. So he's a 6 to 8 game start. Heineke starts the rest of the seaon. I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in and takes the job away from Heineke the way that Heineke has been playing. Heineke's been good.
I mean, let's put
Teddy rest of season. I'm not sure, but if it's between Heineke and Geno Smith, I'm going Heineke all day.
Okay. Fine. I mean, it's not a huge argument. I'm not going to sit here and die on a Geno Smith.
Geno Smith has sub 60% completion percentage for his career, I think. Even in that last game, it was sub 60% completion percentage. I don't want to start any quarterback with sub 60 completion percentage who isn't doing what Josh Allen was doing on the ground in his rookie season, or what Lamar was doing on the ground in his second season.
No.
Geno ain't doing that.
No, that's not what I was trying to say. No. All right, I guess.
Yeah.
They're all they're all QB. I mean, they're QB2s. Geno's, I guess, like a low QB2.
And Teddy rest of season, I like Teddy rest of season. But
I mean, it should be his job. Let's put it this way: of those three, he's probably the safest to keep his job.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with that. I agree with you there. Kels 22, Chuba or CEH full PPR? Got to go CEH there.
Yeah, full PPR. Yeah, I think that tips the scales. Chuba's going to get work because again, I expect the Panthers to be winning that game against the Eagles. Clyde's on a little mini run right now, and he's your second round pick versus a waiver pickup. Obviously Chuba's got a great opportunity tomorrow, but
right.
The full PPR tips the scales for me to Clyde.
Yeah, I not really even thinking about it that much, going Clyde there. Okay. We talked about his matchup with the Bills and how it's going to be a CEH funnel on defense, and I think it's CEH there easy. AB asks Moss, Mooney, Renfro, or Gainwell at flex. And you're welcome in advance. No worries.
Well, we'll try.
Thanks for the question.
Don't thank us yet.
Moss, Mooney, Renfro, Gainwell. I would go. They're all kind of in the same tier, but I would go Mooney because I think he's really.
I'm between Mooney and Moss. I think I might say Moss.
Game script doesn't go his way, and I think Fields just has an eye for Mooney.
You're right about that. Who are the Bears playing?
And I know Carr has an eye for Renfro, but it's not his first read. I think Mooney is his first read. I think the problem with Allen Robinson right now is he isn't the quarterback's first read. He's just not targeting the guy who's going against the number one cornerback.
The Raiders are top 8 in the league in receiving points, or bottom 8 in the league in receiving points allowed. So it's a tough matchup. Whereas the Chiefs are giving up tons of production to running backs. You're gonna go slight edge to Moss. And I love Mooney, but I think I go slight edge to Moss.
It's the second time you're fading Mooney in a question in back-to-back weeks.
I'm gonna get burned for that.
But you're going Moss over Gainwell?
Slight edge to Moss, yeah, because Moss is the starter. The only thing Miles Sanders still has on his, is that he's the starter. So I'll give him that. But
Singletary's looked every bit as good as Moss this season. I can't say he's the starter. It might be a name only, but Singletary has looked just the same as Moss has.
Mm-hmm.
For what that's worth.
I think I still need Moss.
I go Mooney.
Okay.
Do we have a format? AB, can you throw your format in the chat?
You mean the? Oh, you mean the scoring?
The scoring format. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that might help.
Yeah. If it's standard, I might go Moss there too.
Yeah.
But if it is any sort of PPR format, it's Mooney all day.
That's fair. Yeah. That I can get on board with.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Marcus's birthday. Happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Marcus.
Yeah, happy birthday to Marcus.
Dope.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks.
Yeah.
Happy that we could be a part of this.
Yeah, we'd sing to you, but you don't want to hear that.
Yeah, right. No, we're not going to do that. John will put a track together for you.
No. Sorry, bro. That's all you get. Happy birthday, though.
Right. How do I feel about Chuba's matchup? Good. It's a good one. It's a good one, and I definitely like Chuba more than Michael Carter. I think this is I think you go with Chuba. I expect the Panthers to beat the Eagles at this point. Even if it's a game that's close, Chuba can catch the ball if he needs to. I know Carter's got a good matchup too, but the Panthers are better. Give me the player on the better team. I'm going Chuba.
I lost this question.
Chuba, do you like Chuba more or less than Michael Carter?
There we go. Marcus, got your question. Is that Marcus? No.
Yeah.
My chat is sluggish.
Is it bugging for you? All right, so what do you like between Michael Carter and Chuba Hubbard? That's the question.
You got to go Chuba this week. He's shown more thus far.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll help you out until you're back on track with the chat. JP, do I play Mixon if he plays? Heard he may be limited. Yeah. Or just start Williams as RB2. Is that Damian Williams? And flex either Jacoby or Devontae Smith.
Or is that Javonte Williams?
Yeah. Is that Javonte Williams or Damian Williams? If Mixon plays,
I think you play Mixon if Mixon plays.
I think you have to play him if he's in there. It's always like pulling teeth. You never feel good about a guy who's like a game time decision, but
he's gotten the most work of I think any running back in the NFL thus far.
I think you're right about that.
I think
maybe not named Derrick Henry.
Outside of Mr. 30 touch a game, Derrick Henry.
Right.
What a streak he's on. But I think he's the second most utilized back in the NFL thus far through 4 games. So I think you continue going back to that well, even though you're right, coming off of his current injury designation, it doesn't feel great.
Doesn't feel great, but And then I'm not sure if it's Javonte Williams or Damian Williams. I'm going Damian Williams because of the matchup. I'm not high on Javonte this week going on the road against Pittsburgh. So Damian Williams would be fine there. If it's Javonte though, he said it's Damian. I would say if you can play both Mixon and Damian Williams, do that. If Mixon's healthy.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Khalil Herbert taking much of he might vulture a touchdown here or there if they get near the red zone, but I think it is Damian Williams' backfield until David Montgomery comes back. Yeah. And Jacoby Myers, Devonta Smith.
Well, I'm seeing at the end, if Mixon plays, he would play Zeke, Mixon, and Damian Williams. But gotcha. If Mixon doesn't play, then it would be Zeke, Damian Williams. I guess I would go slight edge to Jacoby Myers over Devontae Smith. Slight edge. Real thin.
Kel's 22. We got to that question. Mr. Heinem, what's going on? What's going on, bro?
What's up, Mr. Heinen?
Devontae Parker or Robbie Anderson PPR worried about Parker's health?
Yeah, so based on that, if Devontae
is he fine?
Go,
I thought he was all right.
No, he's not. Well, last I checked, he's not. Let me take a look. He picked up an injury, I think, either in practice or last week. Devontae Parker is questionable. I mean, It's a better matchup for him. They're playing the Bucs, and Anderson has been non-existent this year. If Parker's in, you got to play Parker. If Parker's healthy, you got to play Parker. Robbie Anderson has pretty much no-showed so far.
He got a decent amount of targets last game too, didn't he?
Did he? I mean, it was the DJ Moore show once again.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, he did get a fair amount of work. Let me look.
I got it. Let's see. Robbie Anderson. Oh, he did you're right. He had 11 targets last game. Yeah, that's not enough for me.
11 targets isn't enough for you?
No, because he turned it into 7
it was
PPR fantasy points.
5 receptions for 46 yards. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So he even had 1 rush for 3 yards. They utilized him 12 times in that game. Woo! That's not utilization you normally see, and he didn't do anything with it.
If Parker's in, you play Parker. If he's out, then sure, Anderson.
Jordy Kuzco, pick one in the flex. Godwin, Hollywood Brown, Damian Williams, Kareem Hunt, or Dalton Schultz.
damn, you gotta sit one of those dudes. I mean, I guess it's gotta be Godwin, right? You gotta play Godwin.
I would go Godwin too. Can't sit the slot receiver in that offense.
No Gronk.
Gotta go Godwin.
There's a lot of talent there.
If Gronk was in, I would say Hollywood, but Gronk is out. You gotta go Godwin.
Was in, I might say Damian Williams, but I would go Godwin. I would say Godwin's the best player. Yeah, that's tough.
AS Ricky Seals, Ricky Seals Jones or Ross Dwelly, full PPR. I'd go Ross Dwelly.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way: he's gonna get the start, right?
Yep.
I would go. Dwelly's fine as as a fill-in streamer.
Ricky Seals Jones got the work, but they also they signed Jay Sternberger away from somebody's practice squad because he was on somebody's practice squad. I mean, he was a former third-round pick. What was Ricky Seals Jones? You know what I mean? He had a hot stretch on a team 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So no, I'd go Ross. No, Dwelly.
I'm gonna agree. I would go Dwelly.
Yep. And thanks again to Marcus Stone. Happy birthday again to Marcus Stone.
Marcus Brown.
Marcus Brown. I can't read.
No.
Can't read. If you didn't wish Marcus Brown a happy birthday in the chat, then we're gonna come after you. Do that.
Rude.
Yep. It was because I saw Pearl Stone.
That's
Pearl Stone. Thoughts on Van Jefferson for the season-long standard league?
Yeah, I mean,
I love Van Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, he's worth a hold at this point. I think he's worth a roster spot even in 10 and 12 team leagues. That offense is clicking right now. Stafford's playing great. I know he didn't do much on a Thursday night on the road in Seattle against the division.
It's because they were feeding the squeaky wheel. They were going Robert Woods' way.
Robert Woods.
But they were. Woods, it looks like
announced his presence.
It looks like it's Cooper Kupp who's going to be the gold standard, always getting points receiver in that offense, and it's going to swing between Van Jefferson and Robert Woods. And Robert Woods is going to have a bunch of good days, but I think Van Jefferson is good enough to have a bunch of good days going forward too. He was the guy I wasn't super high on because he was an old rookie coming out, but I mean, how can you hate on his production thus far through his second season? It's been great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, worth a hold. Will be a spot starter in some situations.
I know you said season long. I'm talking about dynasty things, but
yeah, I mean, he'll be a spot start in standard leagues. As we're approaching bye week season, starting next week. So,
thanks, Pearl Stone, for the question. Still King T, what do you think about Michael Thomas when he gets back? I think he's going to get the ball thrown his way. He's going to get a ton of volume.
Yeah,
which is what he has succeeded on in the past. He succeeded on a ton of volume with Drew Brees.
Has there been a recent update for Michael Thomas about just like his?
He was on COVID for a while. He was on IR and then he got switched to COVID.
Got
and
COVID.
I don't know if he's reverted back to the IR yet from
he's
COVID.
He's on the PUP list.
There we go.
He's on the PUP list. So he's obviously out for the. He's out this week. Next week is the Saints bye, and he's going to be out week 7 as well because he has to be out for the team's first 6 games. So he's going to be out week 7 against Seattle as well. So he's technically eligible to come off the list week 8 against Tampa. There haven't been any updates that I've personally seen recently, but I mean, assuming he needs a couple of weeks to get up to speed, could be a second half wide receiver 1. Mm-hmm. Could be a situation where the Saints are struggling on offense for the first time in what feels like the Peyton era in general. And it just could be like a lackluster offense in general, regardless.
But he could also be the missing place that puts everything back into place. He could put Marquez Callaway back into the fighting against second cornerbacks and sorry, just to go along with that thread of thinking.
That's kind of where I was going with it. Like Michael Thomas has proven before, and they need something. They need a boost. They need a spark. I don't know how I feel about the quarterback situation right now, as far as like how much that helps him out. They're doing the thing where we knew this would happen. They're like rotating between Jameis and Taysom. What do we call them? Tamus.
Yep. Tamus. You coined that Tamus early in the offseason. Yeah.
Yep. Tamus. Yep. So that's officially happening. So But Michael Thomas is a proven player. If he's healthy, he's in your lineup. Put it that way. Like, you go out of your way to find a spot for him in your lineup. That won't change, at least for the first couple weeks that he's healthy, when he comes back, whenever that is.
I mean, Jameis is used to having at least one borderline Hall of Famer, or not, if not just straight up Hall of Famer in your offense. He's used to having Mike Evans in that offense. Michael Thomas comes back, he can provide that level of player when he comes back for Jameis. And so, yeah, again, gonna hammer it in into the ground. I think his return sets that offense.
You believe in Michael Thomas as far as getting them back on track.
Yep. Thank you. Theo Von Miller, how is Dan Arnold going to pan out on the Jags?
I mean, it's an offense that is going to have to continue to throw because they're bad.
Yep.
And with the DJ Chark injury, somebody else is going to have to step up. I mean, they just traded for Arnold. Why not get him in there? Why not get him involved? Why not use him? Somebody outside of Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault is going to have to do something at some point.
Yeah, DJ Chark was top 5 in the NFL in air yards before his injury. Those air yards are going to go somewhere. I'm not saying they're going to go to a tight end, but they're going to need to get creative. And before Laviska Shenault kind of blew up in last game after Chark got injured, Dan Arnold was the most targeted and had the most receiving yards on that team, despite being traded for like that week. He was already in an integral part of their game plan from the jump. So, yeah, I like Dan Arnold a lot moving forward. And remember, he was one of those tight ends that was a wide receiver in college. He converted from tight end, from wide receiver to tight end early in his career, and usually it takes those guys a few years, but we've seen Darren Waller do what he does, right? So I think that bodes well for his prospects.
Maybe not this year, but you're talking down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for this year, yeah, he's trending up. Somebody's going to have to step up with Chark being out.
And DJ Chark is in a contract year, so he might be gone next year. So it might be Chark, ETN, James Robinson, Dan Arnold in that offense. That might just be who they have. Marvin Jones is still there too, but
and Shenault, yeah.
Did I not say that?
You meant yeah, you said Chark. You meant Shenault, sorry. Jones, ETN, Robinson, Dan Arnold.
Yep. And Marcus, hey, you're welcome. Thanks again for tuning in. Happy birthday again. Joe Santo, Swift or Damian Williams in the flex, full PPR. Thanks, guys.
I mean, I gotta give a slight edge to Swift. I think
you gotta go with Swift, even though it doesn't. You're just looking at that coaching staff, being like, "What are you doing?
What are
you doing? Why do you
give him the ball?"
I know Jamal Williams is good, but why do you keep coming out after every game and saying we wish we would have given the ball to Jamal Williams more? It doesn't make sense.
Like, it does not
like every game.
Just throw the ball to
yeah. You could. It's okay to admit when you're wrong. Just admit when you're wrong and start giving the ball to DeAndre Swift. It makes no sense. But I would still go DeAndre Swift there.
And I think he's a flex full. Maybe he meant full PPR.
Yeah,
if it's full PPR, Swift.
Yep.
Some of these comments were extensions of earlier questions.
Yep.
Oh, JP lost Kittle. Me too, man.
Yeah, I just traded Kittle to Nick, and he promptly goes on IR. So
I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
So hope Henry does something going. Yeah, I mean, John, you talked about Henry earlier, about how if between the two Patriots tight ends, Henry's probably the one who's less likely to be asked to block tomorrow to help out the offensive line. So Henry can come through. It's a good matchup.
Kane Z, Kyle Pitts, or Knox at TE. That is a tough decision, especially this week when the Bills are playing the Chiefs. If the Bills weren't playing the Chiefs, I'd go edge Pitts in a game where Calvin Ridley isn't playing.
I think I go edge Pitts.
Do you still go edge Pitts?
I think I go edge Pitts, but Knox has a great
is on
matchup.
Fire, and he has great
on
matchup.
Fire, great matchup. Should be a shootout, but Pitts also has Pitts also has a great matchup. Should operate as the top pass catcher in that offense tomorrow.
Isn't Russell Gage still out as well?
Russell Gage is out, so Olamide Zaccheaus is operating as their number one.
For all you deep dynasty guys, Frank Darby might see his first game action of the year. So just throwing that out there.
I think I give it to Pitts just because Knox is on fire in a great offense, but Pitts is going to be the number one option in the passing game, and there's no guarantees that the Falcons win that game. Well,
I'm playing.
You might not be. You might not be.
Cordell Patterson has played on 33% of the snaps in every game this year except one when he played 47% of snaps. I know it's going to go up because Calvin Ridley ain't there, but they clearly want him in a smaller role and have packages for him. They don't want him to be an every down receiver.
He's going to be lining up wide. He's not going to. He's not going to line up much as a running back tomorrow. I would think. I think he lines up as a receiver. Mike Davis might see some more running back snaps. Patterson sees an uptick, I think, in receiver snaps. I think I give a slight edge to Pitts over Knox, even though it's tough.
I guess I got to go Pitts, too. I got to go against my boy Knox, even though I have a real hard time sitting Knox right now.
It's tough.
Especially in any game against the Chiefs. Your second question, Zach Moss, Tim Patrick, Emmanuel Sanders in the flex.
Moss?
Sanders. I mean, if Cortland Sutton is out, then Tim Patrick becomes their number one receiver, and it's not even close because Judy and Hamler are both out too.
Right.
So it becomes Tim Patrick.
But he's going to see Joe Hayden. He's going to see Joe Hayden, though, right?
So you're saying it's a Noah Fant Albert O game?
I think it's a struggle bus game for the Broncos offense.
And is Teddy Bridgewater playing or is it Drew Lock?
Yeah, I think he's questionable. So let's say he's on the better side of playing. Okay. I go Zach Moss. I would go Moss. The Chiefs are giving up a ton of work to running backs. Tons of fantasy production. Is it
PPR? Half PPR? Because if it's standard, I'd go Moss. If it's flex or PPR or half PPR or PPR, I'd go Emmanuel Sanders because, again, game flow. He's going to be pretty much an every down wide receiver. They're going to have to pass more than they run.
I think I go Moss.
I think I'd go Emmanuel.
It's a great matchup.
Unless it's standard.
We're at odds. Once again.
The Bills aren't going to run to beat the Chiefs.
No, I understand that. But if they get it down to the goal line and don't score, Moss plunges in.
The last few games, they've gone down to the goal line and passed Sanders, and he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, well, this is a great matchup for Zach Moss this week. So.
It's a great matchup for Emmanuel Sanders. So, all right, we're gonna disagree on that one. Theo Von Miller is old. His old. Yes, his old butt finger's still gonna be coaching in Jacksonville next year. I don't know, dude.
No, no, there's no way because
I don't think so.
I don't know if he lasts this season because they're gonna keep losing, and it's gonna that fire is gonna start burning brighter and brighter. That seat's gonna get hotter. The thing is,
it's not even what happened; it's how he's handled it this far. It's just he's dug himself a hole after digging himself into a hole, and it's just like, bro.
It's almost like I feel like he's challenging Jacksonville to fire him. They're like he wants him to do it. He went
from coaching college kids to acting like a college kid. It's weird.
It's ironic.
Weird. As a grown ass dude.
As Palpatine would say, it's ironic. I think he's trying to get himself fired because if the Jags fire him, they still have to pay him, right? If he quits, I think they don't. So he's not going to quit, but it's not going to get better. I think it's like if it's like week 12, week 13 and they've won like one game, I think they cut their losses. I do.
Yeah.
I think they cut their losses. Is butt fingers.
Look,
is he back next year? I don't see it.
They don't want to waste the best quarterback prospect of all time, possibly.
Right. They actually might have something.
That's what Trevor Lawrence is. He was the next big thing. He was Andrew Luck level. Peyton Manning level, Ryan Leaf level, but
as far as a prospect, yeah,
they don't want to mess that up by continuing to roll out some dude who can't
this joke
manage his own life. Like, come on, bro. Yeah, no, he might be gone this year. I'd put money on him being gone this year.
Yeah, I think he's gone this year.
Yep. Never forget Tebow's block. And you had that same question on Pitts and Knox. Yeah, man, it's a tough decision.
It's tough. It's real close.
But I think we got to go Pitts this week, and it's really just because Calvin Ridley is out. If Calvin Ridley was in, I'd be going Knox.
Are you worried at all that the Jets are able to key on Kyle Pitts, whereas the Chiefs are not going to necessarily key on Dawson Knox?
I don't care if the Jets key on him. They don't have the personnel to take him out of the equation entirely if Matt Ryan is keying on him.
The Jets are not giving up a lot of production to tight ends. Now, they played Tennessee last week, who doesn't utilize tight ends.
But they're hardest to play. Like, you don't run against the Jets. They have a great front four. But you throw against them. That's how you win against the Jets. It doesn't take much to win against the Jets, but you throw against them.
So I'll just throw this out here. The Chiefs are allowing 10 fantasy points per game to tight ends. The Jets are allowing 4.5.
Who have they played?
So, yeah, to that point, the Jets played the Titans last week. Titans don't utilize tight ends in the past game, really.
Nope.
Who else have the Jets played? I believe they played the Dolphins. They played Carolina, so that was Dan Arnold. He was a little bit involved, not really. They played the Patriots, so Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. They played Denver, so Noah Fant. Did Noah Fant have a good game that week? I think he might have. I feel like he might have. What did Noah Fant do against the Jets?
Don't remember.
Nope, he had 2.5 half PPR fantasy points. He had 2 catches for 15 yards.
What week? What week?
Week 3.
Okay, so it was after the Judy injury.
Right, it was after the Judy injury.
But Hamler hadn't been injured yet, or Hamler was injured that week.
So the best tight end that the Jets have faced this year is Noah Fant. Tomorrow it'll be Kyle Pitts, but so far it's been Noah Fant. They held him to 2 catches for 15 yards. The Chiefs are allowing 10 fantasy points per game to tight ends. That's a significant difference. Chiefs have played the Browns. I mean, Austin Hooper. The Chiefs have played the Ravens. Mark Andrews had a good game that Sunday night.
But to that point, Denver didn't need to do anything to beat the Jets. The Jets beat themselves that game. They threw 5 interceptions that game. So I'm not gonna hold the fact that they didn't that Noah Fant didn't have an explosion of a game against Noah Fant in that situation. That's not because the Jets defense did great.
That's fair.
If Denver needed to throw the ball, I bet you Fant would have had a better day.
Mm-hmm. I think, I'll still say Pitts.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of downside.
Bro, I can't get over that old butt fingers. I'm gonna change my fantasy team names to old butt fingers. There we go.
I have a couple Jags. I'll have to do that. If he's the reason Lawrence hasn't played to his potential. I mean, I would say there's a lot of intangibles right now that Urban Meyer is bringing to the team that are negative, that are not good. So maybe.
Well, again, I remember when there was that story that he brought too many. He had more coaches on his staff than any other organization in the NFL by far.
Does he? I don't want to.
That might just be like there's too many cooks in the kitchen for messages to really get through and for any real cohesion there. He seems to be somebody who wanted to outsource as much as possible because he's not a guy that can handle it as much himself. And actually, that's smart thing for somebody to do who's coming in from the college ranks, is to get a lot of people who've done it before around you. But I think he got too many people around him, and he doesn't have a direction.
Mm-hmm. I think they need a new coach, and I think that would help Trevor Lawrence.
The signals, we should have saw the signals.
Yeah.
When Tim Tebow comes in, and it's going to be their number 1 tight end.
Yeah. And
then when the story comes out after the draft that they didn't like Travis Etienne that much, they wanted Kadarius Toney, and they're vocal about it days after the draft. That's weird. Usually you hear the exact opposite. Usually you hear, oh, we were in love with our guy. This was the guy we had number 1 on our board. And that's lip service. But at least, I don't know. It's just weird. That situation was weird, and we should have seen it earlier. Mm-hmm. Those are my thoughts.
They need a new coach.
What's the deal with Yeah.
Juwanna Johnson.
Juwanna Man Johnson. I'm still gonna watch that movie, bro. Still gotta go back and watch that movie.
Oh damn. Yeah, I have to. Yes, that's on the to-do list.
Yep. Is he worth stashing in Dynasty or not? Yeah.
Hell
he
yeah,
looks to
he
be, at least for now, the Saints' pass-catching tight end.
He absolutely is.
I think that role is just going to continue to grow for him.
He's
a wide receiver tight end convert as well. He came into the league undrafted free agent, wide receiver. He played a bunch of run blocking snaps from the wide receiver position in his first year and then transferred in this past offseason. Excuse me. And he's done great. He was off everybody's radar, but yeah.
2 streaming weeks.
Yeah.
2 streaming week. 2 weeks where he was like a streaming tight end. So yeah, I mean, while the Saints are still looking for help,
and he scores a few more touchdowns, and you can sell him for like a tight end with some cachet to his name. I think that's the smart thing to do. I'm not saying go out and trade him for Troutman, but I think you can hang on to a 21-year-old. I think you can flip Juwan Johnson into something. Personal opinion.
Okay.
As I like to flip my found money into like known commodities.
Fair enough.
When I find $5 on the street, I want to buy $5 of Bitcoin with that $5 of cash.
Makes sense.
Crypto analogy. There we go.
Smart.
All right, where were we? Juwanna Man Johnson. Jason B. Fisher, what's going on?
Just worth the stash in Dynasty. What's up, Jason?
Arizona D against Lance. Minnesota D against Detroit with its O-line in shambles. Yep. Carolina against the Philadelphia team that has weapons. Yeah, but doesn't know how to use them. And Oakland. Mistakes by Fields. Oakland's been more opportunistic than I ever thought they would be coming into the season.
Also, Vegas.
Yeah.
They're not Oakland anymore. Had to call it out.
Thank you.
Had to do it. Continue. Unless that was it.
I was just gonna say these are all technically matchups you want to exploit because it's rookie quarterbacks or an offense that sucks.
I think I go with the Panthers.
You could go Carolina against Philadelphia. Okay.
Lane Johnson's out for the Eagles, so that's a big loss on their offensive line. And Carolina's still, I think if they're not top 1 anymore,
they just
top
traded
2 or 3 in sacks.
They just traded for Stephon Gilmore, bro. They just they've been doing well. They just got better.
Let me talk about that really quick. For just briefly. 1, he's not going to play this week. He's on the PUP list, so he's out through week 6. But you got to imagine that that's a mental boost for the rest of that locker room. Like, the front office, the organization is signaling to the players so that, like, we're going for this. We're giving this a shot. We're trying.
Yep.
Like, here's a brand new, like, stud corner who is not too far removed from a Defensive Player of the Year award.
And if they can work it out in the cap next season,
be good for this. For the
they're going to be good.
That's got to be good for that. I think that's good for morale.
Yeah.
I think there's intangibles there that are going to boost that Carolina defense in ways that can't be charted out or projected. So I think that's a good positive thing for the Panthers moving forward. They won't have him tomorrow, but again, I think they're still top 3 in sacks. And Jalen Hurts has been taking sacks. I would go Carolina.
They're taking advantage of having been built the right way. I mean, look at their skill position players. They're really not paying any of them a ton of money outside of CMC. Mm-hmm. Darnold is on one of the most quarterback-friendly deals in recent memory. So yeah, they're going all in, and it's a great sign for that entire team, offense and defense. I would go Carolina there too.
I'll go Carolina. I know, the Lions are exploitable, but Minnesota's not the defense that we thought they would be coming into the season so far. Anyway, Arizona has been good. Lance first start, no Kittle. They're enticing. It is enticing. I would go Carolina, Arizona, Minnesota, then Vegas. Fields looked like he put it together a little bit last week.
Yeah, still didn't have the touchdown explosion at all, but he was moving the ball down the field efficiently and letting other players do the work for him. So
my pick would be Carolina with an Eagles offense that's going to be missing Lane Johnson.
I'd go Carolina there too. And Elias, hey,
thanks for tuning in. I'm glad
you won.
That's what we love to hear.
Yeah,
that's what we do this for. Help win matchups. That's yes. Warms my heart. Happy to hear it.
P Diddy, Papa Daddy Puff,
That's
Diddy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Jigglypuff. What do you guys believe in Kadarius Toney? I believe in the opportunity. I believe in the opportunity that he's getting, and the fact that he is a first-round pick, so the coaching staff wants to use him.
They better try if they're going to spend a first-round pick on him.
Right. Well, it was trending in the wrong direction for a while, but it looks like he's going to get a ton of work just by default because he's the only guy left. I mean,
had a decent game last week.
They're giving a ton of work to Colin Johnson and John Ross, so he looks like the leader in that wide receiver core right there. And he got a ton of work. He was on the field a lot.
Yeah. 9 targets, 6 catches, 78 yards. I mean,
do I believe in him?
They're gonna have to throw against Dallas.
Do I believe in him? I'm not sure. Do I believe in his opportunity that stands in front of him currently? Yes, absolutely.
I agree with that. I agree with that assessment.
Yep. Big Kong, Denver DST versus Steelers, or Ravens versus the Colts. You gotta go Ravens versus the Colts. They're a good defense. They're playing a terrible team, and with the quarterback that is gonna be throwing up some lame ducks, it's Carson Wentz.
Still on 2 bad ankles or whatever it is.
Yep.
Ravens. Yep.
Hey, Jason B. Fisher, thanks for getting here at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, man. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. And ask all the questions you want, dude. Throw them in the chat. Elias, hopefully we can help you win your matchup this week with this next question. Pick 2 players in the flex this week. Standard: Joe Mixon, Eli Mitchell, Latavius Murray, Allen Robinson. If Joe Mixon starts, I think you got to go Joe Mixon because again,
you play Mixon.
I think he's the second most utilized running back in the NFL thus far. If he doesn't play and you have to choose between Elijah Mitchell, Latavius Murray, and Allen Robinson,
I think Murray.
It's standard, so I think you got to go Murray. I think he's Murray. A good bet for 50 on the ground and a touchdown, right? Give you 15 points. I think that's what you can expect for Latavius Murray.
And then Robinson third. If Mixon's out, I would say Latavius and Allen Robinson. If Mixon is in, I would say Mixon and Latavius. I can't believe I'm benching Allen Robinson, but this is going to be like a Robert Woods type of game for Allen Robinson. If I tell people to bench Allen Robinson, he's going to have 12 catches for 140 yards. That's tough.
That's tough. Yeah, you can't. I don't know. You can't count on that.
All right, I'm sorry. I think I'm slightly flip-flopping. I'm going to Mixon for sure, but if Mixon is out, Murray and Robinson. If Mixon is in, and it's standard, we don't know that. We don't know if it's standard.
It says standard. Flex this week in standard.
Oh, sorry. Then Latavius becomes way more. Yeah, okay, sorry.
I didn't see standard. Latavius.
Yep, I agree. Joe Mixon and Latavius Murray. If Mixon is out, which at this point it sounds like he's going to play, but if he's out, then Murray and Robinson. Let's see what happens with Eli Mitchell before we plug him back into the lineup.
Hey, P Diddy Papa Diddy Puff. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it.
Oh, appreciate that.
Yep. How'd you get that name? I like that name.
That's awesome.
Theo Von Miller. Is Hooper worth selling in Dynasty, and what could he get if he's worth selling? I think he's worth selling if you get what you can get for him.
What do you do?
Can I go on a little bit of a rant here? Can I do this?
You have the floor.
All right.
I'm looking at his production.
Something that I've noticed about tight ends, and if you've watched any videos that I've done about tight ends, you've heard me talk about this. Relative athletic score, RAS.
You love RAS.
Just specifically for tight ends. It measures their athletic measurables on a sliding scale and gives them a number based on everybody that has been drafted at that position since 1987. In the past few years, basically every top 3 tight end that has been a top 3 tight end for an extended period of time has had an RAS above 9. Gronk, Kittle, Darren Waller, Hawkinson.
Kelsey.
Yep. So I look for tight ends that have that. Austin Hooper doesn't have that. David Njoku has that. So if you're looking to get the best, and they've already shown that they use him a lot in the pass game this season, because they're shuffling through their wide receivers. One's always injured.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be going out and seeing if I can get David Njoku. I'd be going out and seeing if I can get Dawson Knox, because he's another tight end that has an RAS above 9. Gerald Everett has an RAS above 9. I believe Dan Arnold is close if he doesn't have one, an RAS above 9. Those are the guys I'm looking at. If you type in RAS TE chart into Google, you'll see the chart. You'll see a bunch of names that you've never heard before, but you'll see a bunch of names that you have in that top 25 guys who have RASs above 9 since 1987. So that's my spiel.
That's your spiel.
That's
so. What I mean, I would. So to that point, I guess I would say Hooper's got a good matchup tomorrow. The Chargers are giving up a good amount of points to tight ends. So hope he catches a touchdown, and then try to flip him for a 3rd-round pick, something like that.
I'd be trying to say, let me give you him in a 3rd for one of the guys I just mentioned.
For a higher upside.
Get a guy that has that RAS above 9. And
package just Hooper with a 3rd-round pick,
with a 3rd or maybe 2, just to see if you can land one of those guys, because you want to get as many of those guys on your teams as you can, because those guys are the ones that have that top 3 elite upside.
Mm-hmm.
And it might key you into some guys who are overhyped. You might look at some guys and be like, wow, RAS of 4? That's not good. Like Harrison Bryant. If you have Harrison Bryant anywhere, if anybody in Dynasty has Harrison Bryant, terrible RAS. Surprised the hell out of me. Yeah, he was the guy I was high on. I did not know this. He has a terrible RAS.
Time to sell.
Yep. So.
Okay, good to know.
Yep.
So
that's the long answer to Hooper. Yeah.
So flip Hooper into pick for a guy like a Dawson Knox if you can. That's probably not going to happen right now though. Knox is too hot.
No, I would wait until right around the deadline, because the team won't need him in the pass game as much after KC. Jason B. Fisher, I get it wrong all the time too. I'm still saying Chargers in the wrong place. I'm good about Washington football team. I have not slipped up and said their old name at all. But Oakland still gets me with Las Vegas, and
it happens.
LA, the Chargers still get me. San Diego, I still say that sometimes. Joe Santo, if Jalen,
if he hits Ertz for the touchdown, and the Eagle, I think this was maybe like when we were talking about the defenses.
He was wide open. He missed him.
He was
really high. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean
that was tough.
And Jalen's been on a good, he's on a good, good stretch right now. Not a good stretch. He had a good game against Kansas City, but that was also kind of out of necessity. I think a young quarterback with a young head coach with a decent amount of inexperience on the offense just leads to mistakes being made and happening. And when you're down a veteran tackle, that makes the opposing defense more appealing, especially one that's top 3, I think, right now in the league in sacks.
And earlier in the season, weren't we fading Detroit for some form or fashion, and then whoever came in and played them had a really rough time against them? Who did Detroit?
Defense?
No, just in general.
They came back strong week 1 against the 49ers, but then that was pretty much like the best part of their season.
I might be wrong. Give me a sec.
I'm not sure.
It might have been about a specific player, but
okay. Yeah, I don't know what you're specifically referring to, but
we thought the Ravens, coming into week 4 or week 3, the Lions against the Ravens, we were hyping all the Ravens. And
we were hyping like,
and it was only 19-17 and a tough game that we thought the Ravens would run away with it, and they didn't, because the Lions were a little bit tougher of a matchup than everybody thought.
Letdown game for the Ravens after they played the Chiefs.
So the Lions could be a little bit more of a tougher matchup for that Philadelphia offense than we anticipate.
Well, they're playing Minnesota.
Oh, God damn it! Did I get the matchups wrong again?
Yeah, you got the matchups wrong.
Also,
it's okay. I'm still saying Carolina in that quartet of defensive options. So with that, let's just go ahead and move on.
All right.
Big Con, how concerned are we about Mixon and Hawkinson? I mean, Mixon sounds like he's got a shot to play this week, so I'm not too worried about Mixon. Hawkinson, I don't know what type of absence we might be looking at. If it's a one-game absence or if there's concern for anything more than that. He's dealing with a knee injury, so that's always, kind of blah.
You never want to see lower body injuries.
No.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit more, maybe slightly more concerned about Hawkinson, but we just don't know that much yet. So he's probably not going to play tomorrow. We're just going to have to take it one day at a time and go from there. I guess by default, I would say I'm a little more concerned about Hawkinson. Mixon sounds like he's got a better chance to play tomorrow, which means even if he misses tomorrow, I'm not too worried long-term about Mixon.
Yeah, the initial prognosis was that he was week to week. And then in the same day, Zach Taylor came out and said, oh, no, he's day to day. And he has practiced to the side at practice, or worked to the side at practice all through the week, and wants to get a practice in to see if he can suit up. It doesn't look like that's a possibility. But the fact that that's on the table for him so soon after the injury, I think bodes well for Mixon. And the ambiguity with Hawkinson right now, I would go the same way you are. I'd say I'm more comfortable with Mixon's current status.
Right.
Pukes times 2.
Pukes.
What's up? Mike Williams, Jacoby, CeeDee Lamb, Cole Beasley, Brandon Ayuk, and Gainwell. Pick 2, wide receiver, 1 flex. Mike Williams for sure.
CeeDee Lamb for sure.
CeeDee Lamb for sure. And then flex 1.
Between
Jacoby
Ayuk and
with no Kittle?
I don't think so. Oh, it's in standard? Do I then go maybe Beasley because of like the potential volume? Like he might catch 10 balls. They don't count in standard, but if it's like for 90 yards, then
and a TD,
like a decent
like
floor
that.
play there. Yeah, decent floor play there. I guess I'm inclined to say Beasley. Definitely Lamb. Definitely Mike Williams. I'm inclined to say Beasley. Jacoby Myers could come through, but also he still hasn't caught a touchdown for like 75 years. So.
I know Ayuk didn't have a great game last week, but Ayuk is giving me pause because George Kittle isn't in there. And George Kittle was one of the most highly targeted tight ends through 4 games. He just hasn't gotten the touchdown. We mentioned that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those targets are going to go Ayuk's way. I know Debo's been that dude, but we can't count on every quarterback having the same target distribution to their wide receivers when they switch in and out.
Especially with a new quarterback in. Trey Lance is in. We don't know how he's gonna, we don't know who he's gonna.
The safe option is Beasley, but it could be a good game for Ayuk. That's all I'm saying. But I would go Mike Williams and Lamb for sure in those top 2 wide receiver spots. In flex, if it's PPR, I would go Beasley. If it's standard. You said standard. All right, then.
I think I still go Beasley. Because Mike Williams is a safe upside play, if that makes sense. Lamb, you're not sitting. Beasley, I think, balances that nicely with a decent floor play. Jacoby has a little bit more upside, maybe, but again, this is another situation where it's like they may run all day if they can. The Patriots, it's not a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Beasley in a shootout, or in what we expect to be a shootout between the Chiefs and Bills. I would go Mike Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Cole Beasley.
And you're going Beasley, so let's go edge Beasley, even though it's hard for me to sit Ayuk in a game without Kittle. Jason B. Fisher for this week only. Carr or Daniel Jones?
I guess I'm gonna say Daniel Jones because I expect the Giants to be trailing. And Jones is coming through. He had 400 passing yards last week, and he runs.
And that
Saquon looks like he's
wide
back.
Receivers out, right?
Saquon looks like he's back. They can throw it to him.
Look at the wide receivers that they have right now. They have a bunch of super speedy guys. It's
right.
Slayton's
all they need
healthy,
to do is
right?
hit on one big play. Slayton's not healthy.
Slayton's not healthy, but they have John Ross, who I know he's not great,
Caught
but he's 25.
Caught a touchdown last week.
Is one of the speediest wide receivers in the NFL. His issue has always been his availability, not his speed on the field.
Right, he's always been hurt.
So there could be a weird amount of long bombs for a team that doesn't have a ton of wide receiver options on their team.
I expect the Cowboys to be winning that game. Therefore, I expect the Giants to be trying to play catch up, and that means Jones is going to be throwing. I think you might be looking at more of a fair game, or more of a evenly matched game between the Bears and the Raiders, which is also a Khalil Mack revenge game. Could be trouble. Could be trouble for Derek Carr. I'm going Daniel Jones.
I'd go Daniel Jones there too. I would. If we're talking for this week only.
For this week, yeah.
Yep. Elias A, you're welcome. Yeah, it's a rough choice. But
hopefully we get it right.
Hope so. Hopefully you can come back into the chat and say the same thing you did this week.
Right.
Official McLovin. MJJ or Renfro. MJJ. Who's MJJ?
Who is MJJ? Why am I blanking on this?
Maurice Jones, what?
Marvin Jones Jr. Right?
Okay.
Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
I would go Marvin Jones. I know Renfro's been hot in PPR, but you got to go Marvin Jones. I know he didn't have a great game after Chark left, but he is going to be one of the focal points for Trevor Lawrence going forward. And I said it twice in this pod already, or in this live stream already. Chark was 5th in air yards when he went out. Those air yards are going to go a lot. A lot of them are going to go Marvin Jones' way.
I would go Marvin Jones. Yep.
Big Pun, what's going on, bro?
What's up, Big Pun?
Sermon, Javonte Williams, Pittman, Ayuk, need a flex. Lost money last week. Oh, man, me too, bro. Me too, dude.
Hold if you can. We love his second half schedule.
What format? What's the scoring?
I'm inclined to say Pittman. What about you? I think I'm out on the running backs. I love Javonte, but this is as bad a matchup.
If I'm going to one of the running backs, it's going to be Javonte. But I would go Pittman over both of them.
I think I'd go Pittman.
And I would go Pittman over Ayuk, even though Ayuk has the Kittle. But Pittman just has the volume.
I'm going Pittman.
Yep. Ryan Nolly, what's going on, dude?
What's up, Ryan?
Damian Williams or Fournette? That's a tough one. We were talking about this earlier, and you said Gio is... I don't know if we were talking about it on stream.
Questionable. We weren't talking about it on the stream, no.
Gio's,
I think I lean Fournette, though. I think I lean Fournette, and I'm a little concerned. I think between the Raiders and the Bears, I think the Raiders win that game. Where is that game? Is that in Vegas? I think it's in Vegas. So it's a home game for the Raiders. If that game, if the Raiders can get a lead, Damian Williams might get phased out. He can catch passes. But Fournette, I mean, Ronald Jones remains in the doghouse. Fournette got a ton of work last week. It was in the rain. The rain was causing some issues for the offenses, but
yeah.
So Fournette got a little extra work.
I would go Fournette.
I think I slightly lean Fournette.
Better offense, same workload, basically.
Better offense, great offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Fournette.
They go Fournette.
Better, yeah. I feel like his floor is a little safer. We've seen Damian Williams do stuff with the Chiefs, but this is not the Chiefs. This is the Bears.
Elias, to answer your question, real easy. Drop Tyson. Keep AJ Dillon. He's got some real value. Showed that last week. And Emmanuel Sanders, he's the Bills wide receiver 2 right now. So you drop Tyson Williams. It is frustrating. He's a guy that I really liked coming into the season.
Second in the league in yards per carry. Is he going to be another healthy scratch tomorrow?
He could be, dude. It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I would drop Tyson Williams, even though it's tough. He's not active on game day, and the other two are integral part of their offenses. So you just got to go off of that. But thanks for your question, bro. And Nico Saf, what's going on, Nico? Ruggs or Waddle, PPR? Waddle this week. If Devonta Parker is
probably,
out,
yeah.
They don't have
Waddle.
Will Fuller right now.
No, they don't.
Waddle
for the
could
next
have
3 games,
another
minimum.
12 target, 11 catch, 48 yards.
Right.
But it's PPR, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're
so the points.
You got to go Waddle.
Come from just catches alone. Yep. Waddle.
Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold?
Ooh.
That is tough.
That's a good question. I'm inclined to say Daniel Jones. Again,
I gotta go Darnold.
You're gonna go Darnold. I like quarterbacks in games.
I know,
where
but his weapons are better, and he doesn't have that maybe number 1 running back in the world on his team. Like Daniel Jones, his weapons suck, and Saquon is the best running back and one of the best running backs in the world. So they're gonna run with Saquon a lot, and while they're gonna have to rely on their weapons through the pass game, they're not weapons that they want to rely on. Whereas Sam Darnold has some of the best weapons, one of the best trios in the young trios in the NFL.
Well, he has DJ Moore.
Moore and Terrace Marshall should.
Yeah.
Robbie Anderson had.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not one of the best.
Nico came back. Hang on, Nico came back.
You have DJ Moore, so you got to roll with that stack. Darnold, DJ Moore stack. Yeah.
I love stacks. Yeah, give me. Okay, fine.
Yep.
DJ Moore will see Darius Slay tomorrow.
I don't care. He's a must start every game. I'm not playing matchups with DJ Moore.
No, I know he's really good. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, okay, fine. I like stacks. So I'll say Darnold.
Yep, stacks on stacks. Thanks for your question, Nico. Questions. Yeah. And thanks for the clarification too. That made answering our question a lot easier.
Yeah, adding that little extra tidbit helps kind of make the decision.
Yep. We hope you win with that stack. That's a nice stack. I wish I had that stack in the leagues that I had Darnold. Jason B. Fisher, would you start Daniel Jones over Cousins? Minnesota won't need a lot of passing to beat Detroit. Expect a lot of Madison, even if Cook plays. Since you're on that Daniel Jones wagon, I can see why not. I can't see why not.
Cousins has it's a good matchup. Cousins has, you want to talk about good weapons. Cousins has great weapons in Jefferson and Thielen. Yeah, Minnesota shouldn't need a lot of passing to beat Detroit. I think I do go slight edge to Cousins.
Oof. Okay.
Because of his weapons.
All right.
Jefferson and Thielen are great.
Yeah, they are.
They're great.
Yeah. And Kirk Cousins is above average for a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not great. But he's above
average.
Last
week wasn't good, but I think Cleveland's going to make a lot of quarterbacks look not good this year. Much better matchup.
Theo.
Let's put it this way: Daniel Jones has a tougher matchup. I don't want to discount the Dallas Cowboys defense. They're good, and in fact, I think we missed somebody. Somebody asked about the Dallas Cowboys defense for the rest of the season. I thought I saw that. Yeah. Sorry, Joe Santo, if you're still in the chat, sorry, I'm just realizing we missed this. What do you think of Dallas's defense rest of season? I can kind of tie this all back together. They're top 10 for the rest of the season, I think. I mean, Trayvon Diggs looks phenomenal.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Best corner in the league now.
Sorry we missed that question.
Yeah, sorry about that. They look good for the rest of the season. Dallas defense looks good for the rest of the season. And they'll play the NFC East plenty, including this week. So, they're primed for sacks and turnovers. They're much improved from last year. So, it's a tougher matchup for Daniel Jones. I would go Cousins. Slight edge to Cousins. I do like Daniel Jones to put up numbers, but to tie back to Joe's old question, the Dallas defense is good.
And he says he's still here. Thanks for continuing to tune in. Appreciate it. Theo Von Miller, Hooper and a third for Komet. I mean, you're getting younger, and I just looked it up. Cole Komet's RAS is 8.92, which is about as high as you can get without being in that range. We have seen near that amount of RAS players with near that RAS score succeed. I mean, Mark Andrews is one of those guys. He doesn't quite have an RAS of 9, but it's close, and he's performed at a top 3 level, even though he's considered just outside, right?
So you're saying do the deal?
I'm saying Cole Kmet, do the deal. Yeah, I think Justin Fields gets better, improves, and he's going to be his number 2 weapon next season because it's going to be Mooney and Kmet, depending on if they bring in another guy.
They'll bring somebody
through the draft
in
or free agency.
Even if they lose Allen Robinson, he'll be replaced. Yeah, in the draft.
But yeah, I like Kmet there. I would do that. If I had Hooper and I had an extra third, I would package them both for Cole Kmet yesterday. So go for it.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, and gets a lot younger, like you said.
Yep. Ryan Nolly, what should I do with Miles Sanders? I think you got to hold, bro. I think there are better days ahead. He just has not done anything with his touches. You're trading him at his lowest value.
Pennies on the dollar. You're just not gonna get that much. I agree. You have to hold and hope for the best. He's been looking fine on the touches that he's been getting. He's just not getting the touches.
And he's not scoring touchdowns. He's still getting 60% of the snaps. He's still getting 60% of the workload. He's still getting the majority of the work. You might not know it based off of the success of Kenny Gainwell, but Miles Sanders is still getting the majority of the work in that offense. I do expect it to swing back to his way at some point, though we might see a 50-50 split sooner than later. But still, I think there are better days ahead for Miles Sanders, and even so, I'm not selling low on Miles Sanders.
No, if you want to, if he has like a 2-touchdown game and you want to try to sell off of that, if somebody bites, I don't have a problem with that, but wait for it to happen.
Sell him on the fact that he's a 24-year-old running back who's not,
right.
That's
but we got to see something first to get his value back up. So just hold.
But I'm in the same position. As soon as he has a 2-touchdown game, I am selling him based off the fact that he's still a very young running back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, Slim, thanks for joining us.
What's up, Slim?
And yo, Nico, yeah, hey, sometimes we need that. Sometimes we do drive ourselves crazy with these questions.
It'll be like 1 minute to kick off, and I'll still be like, I don't know if I made the right call. We'll see. So.
Yeah, man, it's a scramble. It's a scramble.
Right.
Slim, should I start Pitts or not and Knox or choose one of the flex? Callaway, McNichols. We already went Pitts' way there.
We went Pitts'. We're slight edge to Pitts.
And we're slight edge Callaway.
Here's the quick rundown with Pitts and Knox because we had 2 other people ask this question. Slight edge to Pitts. Pitts has the tougher matchup. The Jets are not giving up a lot of points to tight ends, but they haven't faced very many impressive tight ends. The Chiefs are giving up a lot of points to tight ends, but Pitts is going to be the focal point of the passing game for the Falcons. And while the Jets are not giving up a lot of points to tight ends, it's still not that scary of a matchup. So slight edge to Pitts. And Callaway over McNichols. John, you already brought up Darrington Evans is coming back. I don't think that the Titans are going to be in a lot of passing, third down passing situations a lot against Jacksonville. They should be winning this game sooner than later, or eventually Derrick Henry runs them into the ground to win the game for them. I would go Callaway. So slight edge to Pitts, even though it's tough, and Callaway over McNichols.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then is Gaskin a wasted roster spot?
He might end up being a wasted roster spot, but I'm still holding.
I think you have to hold. There's not anybody. Malcolm Brown is there and doing stuff, but
Salvin Ahmed isn't getting touches.
There's no one guy there that's taking the reins,
If you are if you want to play that deep dive or dynasty game, and I'm saying this this is something I would normally keep to myself because I play in dynasty leagues with Nick, but I really wouldn't be surprised to see Jared Dokes pop up again for the Dolphins, considering they don't have any running backs that have really taken the role. He's on the practice squad. He's young. They could give him a shot week 13. And
I don't know. Maybe.
It's a deep shot, but that is how I feel about the Dolphins running backs. I think a practice squad guy might come and save the day.
Could be.
Yeah, it's not a good look for those Dolphins running backs. I'm not super high on Gaskin, but as a 24-year-old guy who's done it before, we got to roll with it. See if he can put it together. Yeah, yo, that is the question of the week. That is absolutely the question of the week. Maybe we should do a longer form video on that and just throw it out there into the universe. But yeah. Slim, stream Dallas or Tennessee. I'm never streaming Tennessee. They're not a good enough defense to where
we've been trashing Jacksonville that
they couldn't get it done with when they streamed it against the Jets. If I'm not streaming them against the Jets, I'm not streaming them against Jacksonville.
So the Cowboys, yeah, I mean it's a better unit.
They're playing against
Daniel Jones is turnover prone.
Daniel Jones and a bunch of nobodies on offense as far as pass catchers go, so there could be a bunch of,
don't disrespect
assignment
John Ross
mistakes.
Like
Shut up, dude. The John Ross apologist. Yeah.
I guess Dallas. Yeah, I would get a slight edge to Dallas.
Yeah.
They're just the better unit,
Jason B, can you rank these 3 tight ends for this week? PPR, Gasecki, Schultz, Knox. I would go Knox, Gasecki, Schultz. Just because Gasecki, and it's only based off the fact that Will Fuller is out and it looks like Devontae Parker is questionable. So Gasecki is going to get a lot of work.
Should get plenty of looks.
If it weren't for Devontae Parker being questionable, I might be putting Schultz over Gasecki, but you can't hate on the target workload that Gasecki's been getting recently. But Knox goes number 1 there just because he has that touchdown upside and he plays for one of the best offenses in the league, and they've been using him more than ever before.
I'm in agreement there.
Yep. Daggers, what's going on? Have PPR. If Mixon is out, I'll need a potential flex play for the week. Some available names I'm looking at are Zacchaeus, Robbie Anderson, Kadarius Toney, Randall Cobb, both New England tight ends, and Evan Ingram. Ugh. Never go full Evan Ingram, bro. Don't do it.
I guess it's between Toney and Cobb. I would say it's between Toney and Cobb. I'm not ready. I know Zacchaeus is in that number 1 role. Yeah. I think I go Toney based on the opportunity. I really do. Again, 6
when it doesn't feel good.
6 for 78 last week. I know.
I played him 2 weeks ago though, so I've been forced into situations where I've played him just based off of the fact, that he's gonna get.
You saw the opportunity,
right? So it doesn't.
Did you play him last week when he had 6 for 78?
I don't believe so.
Well.
I don't believe so. Whatever.
Well, you can't expect that line again, but I would go Toney. I expect the Giants.
Hey, it's got to go somewhere, and I can't. If I'm gonna go, it's gonna go Toney or it's gonna go John Ross. I'm gonna say it's gonna go Toney over Ross. And who else do they have in that offense that they're throwing to? Evan Ingram. I'm gonna say it's gonna go Toney over Evan Ingram. And even if it goes Evan Ingram's way, there's a chance he's just gonna drop it because he's not that good. So I would go Kadarius Toney too. Doesn't feel great, Kadarius.
I'll say Toney.
Hey, who's in the best position to get me some points? Kadarius.
Toney.
And SH33 thanks for subscribing. I saw you subscribed. Appreciate it. I don't know how we pronounce your name. Is it Sheedon or Sheed1? I picked up and placed Michael Thomas and Bateman on IR. Who should I cut, trade, and make room on my roster? Sony Michel, Elijah Mitchell, Tony Pollard. Is it Marquez Stevenson? Is that? Because it's definitely him. If you have Marquez Stevenson on your team, drop him.
Ramondre?
Or that might be Ramondre Stevenson too. Either way.
Who's Marquez Stevenson?
He's a receiver for the Bills.
No,
they just drafted him in the 6th round.
It's Ramondre. It's Ramondre.
Okay, yeah, drop. I only said I didn't think Ramondre because I think Ramondre is with the V instead of a PH. But either way,
the point stands. Drop Ramondre.
Drop Stevenson.
Yeah, drop Ramondre.
Joe Santo, Miles Sanders should get 18 touches a game. I agree. But for some reason, it just hasn't come to fruition, whether or not it's the coaching staff didn't think he could handle that amount of workload, or they just don't like him that much.
Or they don't want to give it to him.
Right. I don't know.
I don't think this coaching staff that did not draft Miles Sanders.
They don't like him. They wanted to get another running back in there since they came in the door.
They want to use Gainwell, who this regime did draft, or they were here for the drafting of Gainwell. They weren't here for the drafting of Sanders. I think that's the problem. And you can hate on that potential theory all you want, as far as like, if that's the decision, then they're stupid or whatever. But that might be the reasoning. Like, this is the regime that drafted Gainwell.
You see that all the time. People think they're smarter than the last guy who was in here. People got egos. They come in the door and think, I know how to do this. You were using him wrong. Put him in a role with less touches and get another guy in here, and that's how you fix the problem. That's what they're doing. I think Miles Sanders should be getting 18 touches a game too, and that's not just because I have him in a lot of leagues.
You sure?
It might be colored by that a little bit, but I think he should be getting 16 touches a game. Maybe not 18. I think he should be getting 16 touches a game.
I mean, a 15-touch floor is like would be what you expect from a guy like Sanders, but
exactly. I want 16 touches a game.
Hasn't happened.
You can be an RB1 with 16 touches a game if you're efficient enough. That's all I want. I'm not getting greedy. Don't need 18 touches a game, just 16. Theo Von Miller, did you see Kenneth Walker the third's touchdown today, Michigan State? I did not.
I missed it, but this dude is gonna be. I think he translates well to the NFL. He should be one of the first running backs off the board in 2022. He's gonna be good. I didn't see the touchdown, but this dude's stock just keeps going up and up and up.
Yep.
He's going to be an easy first-round pick in one quarterback dynasty.
Would you compare him? Would you compare him to somebody based off of what you've seen about him? Is he a bruiser? Is he?
I'm not like I'm not there yet as far as like scouting and scouting some of these players, but I know that Walker looks good. He looks like he's gonna. I don't know if he'll be a first-round pick, but he's gonna be one of the, if not the first running back off the board in 2022. He'll be one of them.
And for everybody in here, we do rookie profiles right after the season. Right after the season stops, starting up with those rookie profiles, and then we do another round of rookie profiles after the draft once we figure out where they're going, and then we do another round of rookie profiles leading up to the start of the NFL season. So we will have a ton of content out on Kenneth Walker, but the time will come. But right now we need to see some more.
Yeah, he's looking like he could turn into a star.
Yep. Slim, should I drop Callaway for Hunter Henry? It'd be a 1-week rental. Who else do you have at tight end?
I guess maybe this is like a situation where you have Kittle or. Well, Slim asked the question about Pitts or Knox, so what's the situation there?
Yep.
I would try to hold Callaway just out of.
You don't want to drop a team's number one wide receiver.
The opportunity is there, at least for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Now the Saints do have their bye week next week, so he could fly under the radar. You could pick him back up, but I don't know if I want to play that game if I don't have to.
Yeah.
He said he was. We're great minds, Slim. They can alike. Yeah, Gainwell's on the rise because this is the coaching staff that was here when he was drafted, so they're using him.
Yep. Yeah. Jason B, Emmanuel Sanders, or Renfro. Thoughts about this week and season long? I like Emmanuel Sanders both. I like Emmanuel Sanders for both. Yep. I don't think Gabe Davis is coming in and taking his role back as long as Emmanuel Sanders is healthy, and Emmanuel Sanders has done really well. I think through 3 weeks he had the 11th most air yards in the NFL. He was getting a ton of air yards. Air yards translate to production more often than not.
Usually do.
I'm chasing those air yards over Renfro, whose slot work could swing back to going full Darren Waller, 22 touches a game at any point in time.
Yeah. I mean, Renfro's getting a lot of targets.
He's getting a lot of targets, but Emmanuel Sanders is getting a lot of targets too. Emmanuel Sanders is getting comparable amount of targets. He's just Renfro's getting slightly more work. But I mean, I would still go Sanders in this week's matchup for the week.
Definitely this week.
And season long, I'm still going Sanders. I have faith in that offense more.
That's the argument in Sanders' favor.
We've seen the Las Vegas Raiders with Derek Carr just completely go in the tank at a moment's notice, and just some inexplicable reason the offense was humming, and then switch flips and it's not. And that seems to happen literally every year with Derek Carr. So I would go Emmanuel Sanders because there's no switch flipping on the Bills.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Sheed one, thanks a lot, guys. It was Ramondre, and I hope we're pronouncing your name right, but thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And Daggers, hey, you're welcome. You were thinking Tony and Cobb as well. Yeah.
I would think we'll go Tony.
And I would drop Tyson too. I would not drop Marshall. I would drop Tyson.
Keep Marshall. And then there's a question about Marshall right below it. For the rest of the season, I mean, look, the Dan Arnold trade should free things up for him.
And the fact that Robbie Anderson was inept on 12 touches last game should it should have Sam Darnold thinking maybe he should be going Terrace Marshall's way instead of Robbie Anderson's way in the future, because Terrace Marshall he's better than Robbie Anderson, straight up.
We think maybe not right this second or right now, but yeah, I mean, he probably still needs a little bit more seasening. But the opportunity's
I think he's better
there.
Than Robbie Anderson right now. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it.
Okay. Nope. I mean, Anderson's a little bit more proven at this point.
He's had more time in the league. I'm comparing him to a rookie.
Well, that's my point. Yeah. That's the point. I guess that's mine anyway. But I mean, look, the opportunity it's there for him. The Panthers are a competent team this year on offense. Joe Brady's a great offensive coordinator. I would say he's probably a decent. If the Panthers make the playoffs, Joe Brady very well could get hired as a head coach.
Yep.
Somewhere. So Marshall's in a good situation. It's going to be a little up and down for the time being, though, just because we haven't seen it yet.
Jason B. This week, PPR, where do you rank Cooks for better or worse than who? Is that Brandon Cooks? Is that Brandon Cooks?
Yeah. Brandon Cooks. I mean, he's a wide receiver too this week, but there's more built-in downside because they're going against Belichick. And Belichick eats rookie quarterbacks alive. I think Davis Mills
is game plan
out on a lot today.
On this team, based on the way that they played Houston defense. The Buffalo played defense against them last week. They bracketed Brandon Cooks and completely took him out of the game. And Davis Mills couldn't do anything else with any other skill position players. So even despite the fact that they don't have Stephon Gilmore there anymore, they still have a competent defense. They are going to bracket the hell out of Brandon Cooks. Even though I really like Brandon Cooks, he was number 1 in air yards in the NFL through 4 games.
Right. This is just a brutal matchup. I would say he's a low-end wide receiver 2.
After this week, he's a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1. But this week, he's more low-end wide receiver 2, just
low wide receiver 2.
And it's boom bust. It's not like he's normally a guy who can feast off of just a little amount of work. This week, for really maybe the only matchup all season, he's a boom bust low-end wide receiver 2.
Yeah,
but I really like Brandon Cooks rest of season.
I'd be looking elsewhere this week if I had enough wide receiver depth. I would be looking elsewhere, but just for this week.
Nowhere else on the Houston Texans though. If you're betting on one person on Houston, you're betting on Cooks. You're not going anywhere else.
Right.
Slim. I don't have Callaway. I'd be adding him.
Him.
Henry. I have Pitts and Knox on the roster. I would roll with Pitts and Knox. I wouldn't be picking up another tight end who you're not going to play over a number one wide receiver for the Saints, at least for now.
Yeah, he's a solid streamer if anything were to happen to both Pitts and Knox.
Right, but there's a chance he's going to be on the roster or on the waiver wire when you need him. If anything were to happen to Pitts and Knox, you can pick him up then. He's not a guy that's going to that I expect to not be on the wire when you need him.
I think you're set. I think you're set at tight end with like having both of those guys.
Yeah,
it might be tough.
You say he has a light schedule coming these next few weeks, but when you absolutely need him, pick him up. But you have two good tight ends on your team. I'm not in the habit of rostering 3 tight ends.
No, I'm fine with just sticking with Pitts and Knox. Callaway should be a wide receiver 2 for a few more weeks. Should be. So I would just roll with that. Like, if somebody else is more desperate for a tight end and picks up Henry, like, so be it. Your tight end situation is more than fine. It's good. Yeah,
it's probably one of the better tight end situations in whatever league you're in if you have Knox and Pitts. Jason B, yeah, man, we agree.
When
it's pulling teeth, but you got to do it sometimes. But there are better options out there. Absolutely.
When teams play the Patriots,
got to watch out.
Belichick finds a way.
Hey, look, everybody was expecting Tom Brady to throw for 6 touchdowns and have 500 yards offense. And
I told you that game was going to be close.
And it was a brutal slugfest of a game, and a lot of it had to do with the weather. Because again, if it wasn't for the weather, I think Antonio Brown would have had a much bigger day. But Belichick schemed in the second half and took Mike Evans completely out of the game plan for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were unable to use Mike Evans in the second half, period. And that's why they switched to Antonio Brown. It's great that they have so many weapons, but yeah, I think that defense is legit, and they will take him out of the game, period. How about some love for kickers?
Okay.
No love for no, that's not true. Love for Justin Tucker. That guy is incredible. I'll give him
that
some
guy's
love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can
Who's the favorite not named Tucker? Struggling between Bass, Prater, Carlson. I'd go Bass.
It's Bass.
It's not without question. It's Bass.
For 2 reasons. One, this is just a general rule of thumb with kickers. I like kickers who are on the road. This is a general rule of thumb because, yes, coaches and offenses, like in general, are more aggressive these days. But when you're on the road, you're still more likely to like settle for points if you have to in that situation. I feel like you're more likely to be aggressive at home. So I'm not afraid of kickers.
And teams have better red zone efficiency at home versus on the road. So it stands to reason that they will need their kickers more on the road.
So I don't mind kickers on the road. Bass is just good. Yep. So there you go. That's a double whammy of the equation. And like they are going to be the Bills in a situation where they should have a lot of scoring opportunities. The Kansas City defense is not good. And Chris Jones, who is far and away their best player on defense, is probably not going to play.
Yep.
Missed the whole week of practice.
Wrist or hand?
I forget what the specific injury is, but he missed all week of practice. If he does suit up, you got to imagine it's like a limited situation. The Kansas City defense is not that good. It's a major problem, I think, for them.
It could keep them out of the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to keep them from being a playoff team, but I think it keeps if their defensive woes continue as they have been thus far 4 games into the season, it's going to be hard for that team to like match up against a team like the Chargers, who they have struggled, who they can keep. It's tough to keep up with them on offense, but they have a great defense as well. Bills too, in the AFC. So it's tough. I would go Bass there. She'd won. Thoughts on Bateman? I'm feeling he'll be the number 1 wide receiver in Baltimore, especially after Hollywood dropped those 3 TDs. Look, I'm not overreacting to the fact that Hollywood dropped those 3 TDs. I think that's
bounced back nicely.
I think that's a good sign. The fact that they were willing to continue to just go back to him, and he's so electric. Wins on those downfield routes. Like, You've talked a lot about his track record over the last 11 games has been great.
It's been like 100 yards or 80 yards receiving or a touchdown in like every game.
Lamar Jackson has been throwing more this season than he has.
Bateman's still on IR.
Yep.
Bateman is still on IR. I don't know. I haven't seen a practice report recently. Let me check Twitter really quick. All I do is follow every single beat reporter in existence. Let me see.
My
if
thoughts
there's
on
like
Bateman are, he's gonna be electric. I think when he sees the field, but we gotta wait until he sees the field. And I'm not holding Hollywood Brown's drops in that game against him. I think that bodes well for his future production in this offense, to be honest with you, because they're not just gonna all of a sudden say, "Oh, we're gonna stop using him because he had a 3-drop game."
I don't see Bateman on the injury
He's going to continue to
report.
get work. He's one of the most exciting and electric wide receivers in the NFL right now and has been for the next 10 games. Great stretch. I don't think that changes when Bateman comes in. I think things change a little bit for Mark Andrews when Bateman comes in. And a couple of the other ancillary pieces. Maybe I think Sammy Watkins gets completely phased out of this offense where he's been a uninteresting startable wide receiver for the last few weeks.
So Bateman has been practicing this week. They haven't put him on the 53-man roster yet either. I don't know. That's tough. I don't know if he's going to play this week. He's going to continue. So the more time that he continues to miss, the more time I think he's, still going to have to continue to play catch up. So
yeah.
I'm not sure that he takes. I thought coming into the offseason he would take over as the number one this year, but with the core muscle surgery that he suffered over the summer and all the time that he lost in training camp and practice, and now the first 4 weeks of the season, maybe the first 5, I think we might have to wait until next year to see that. Hollywood's off to. I know that he had a day to forget week 3, but he bounced back nicely week 4 with a long touchdown catch.
And that's all it takes for a guy like him. He's one of the best at it in the NFL. Just one play down the field, and he missed 3 times in one game. If he hits on those 3, we're talking about this a lot differently. We're probably thinking Bateman's an afterthought.
Bateman's going to need a few more weeks minimum to catch up to speed.
Yep. So. Unrelated to fantasy, would you rather know the secrets of space or the ocean, bro?
I love the non-fantasy aspect sometimes that Slim brings to it. I mean, I'm saying space.
Look, for how vast and unknown the ocean still is, there's a finite amount of knowledge that can be derived from the ocean. In space, it's unlimited. I'm going with space.
It's literally the universe stretches for.
Thank you, Slim. I appreciate that question.
I don't want, man, I'm not high enough for this. I would say it's got to be space because it's right. We can measure the size of the ocean. We can't do that with space. It's a drop in the bucket. How big we are.
We're still
to the
trying
vastness of space.
Yeah. No.
I can't comprehend the size of it. I would say space. There's so much more we don't know. I know there's nothing.
That goes for movies too. I like a good underground or underwater sub movie or underwater substation movie or something like that. Monsters Under the Ocean,
movie
something
or whatever.
Like that. But space movies, not messing with Interstellar or The Martian. Come on, bro. Star Wars, not messing with Star Wars, bro. Yeah. So space. In movies and real life. And probably video games too.
Yes.
Unless you're my girlfriend who, for some reason, loves Echo Jr.
You like what you like.
There you go. Old school games. Thanks for getting us off topic, Slim. Appreciate it.
I'll talk about space.
Hey, Big Dummy, Allen Robinson or Emmanuel Sanders, wide receiver 2. That's tough. I never thought I would say that because Allen Robinson was wide receiver 12 for the past 2 seasons with bad quarterbacks. He's playing with bad quarterbacks again, but he hasn't been anywhere close to wide receiver 12.
The Bears are playing the Raiders, who are not giving up a ton of points to wide receivers.
And Justin Fields likes throwing to Kmet and Darnell over Allen Robinson. It feels really weird to fade Allen Robinson I don't know if this is a get-right week for Allen Robinson, though.
I think despite the fade, I'm saying Allen Robinson.
Are you? All right.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I think
that, the chalk move is to just go Allen Robinson.
It's a Robert Woods situation where it's like he's not producing, bam, 12 catches, 100 whatever yards.
You're right.
I know Stafford is better than Fields, but I can't. Yeah, I'm going to say play Robinson.
You do have to. It is only week 5. It is only week 5. I still think you do have to roll with the guy that you were probably expecting to be either your wide receiver 1 or 2. You're not going to sit him.
I think you gotta go Robinson.
Yep. Slim, Washington's cornerback, gives up 17 a game, but Jameis doesn't know how to throw to Callaway enough, or doesn't throw to Callaway enough. That's my only worry about starting him. Yeah. Maybe that changes. Maybe we saw them rushing with Taysom twice, but maybe they go back to I don't know. I can't figure that whole situation out. Jameis looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league week 1, and then hasn't done anything since, to the point where
they haven't really been.
Taysom Hill is coming in and rushing on the goal line because they don't trust him to throw a touchdown pass on the goal line,
which kills everybody's value except for Taysom.
Right.
Who are the other options to start?
Well, no, he wanted to pick up Hunter Henry, was it not?
Right, but you're definitely starting either Pitts or Knox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he don't feel great about starting Callaway if you don't have any other plays at wide receiver, but there's enough of an opportunity where he should be able to come through. And yeah, I mean, to that point, Washington's defense has come nowhere close to meeting expectations this year.
Mm-mm. Nope. And yeah, I don't know if the Saints are a get-right game. They're not a get-wrong game, but they're not a get-right game either. If that makes any sense at all.
You mean Washington? Like
no, again, a matchup for the Saints.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Jason B, thoughts on AJ Green? Picked him up in the 12-team half PPR, but someone dropped Sterling Shepard. Should I drop AJ Green for Sterling Shepard or the Panthers DST? He has Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, Kadarius Toney, Denver D, and Minnesota D.
And the Vikings D? I mean, you drop one of those defenses, I think, and I'm inclined to say the Vikings.
Yeah, if you just picked up AJ Green, I'd say I'm not a proponent of rolling with AJ Green, but he had a good week last week.
Shepard's worth an ad. I would drop. I mean, unless you start 2 defenses, I would drop.
Shepard was getting targeted over everybody in that Giants offense when everybody was healthy.
Right before the injury started to hit. I would pick up Shepard and drop the Vikings.
There you go.
I have no problem holding on to 2 defenses if you only start 1. I do that a lot. I hold on to 2 defenses, and just depending on the matchup, just flip one or the other in.
Specifically later in the season when you're really trying to get those wins, I typically start to do the same thing right around the deadline. Hey, yep. Big Dummy, thank you so much, Big Dummy.
Big Dummy, thanks, man.
I don't feel good calling you Big Dummy. I'm sure you're a smart dude.
BD.
There you go.
We'll go with BD. BD won in that terrible Star Wars game.
There you go.
BD won. There you go. So he's BD.
But thank you, Big Dummy. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Robinson delivers, or if you decide to go with him. We know it's been like pulling teeth with him this year.
Yep.
Adam comes up. I would just Jason, drop the Vikings defense for Shepard. But hold on to those 2. I'm fine with holding on to 2 defenses.
Adam, Jameson, or Juju. I think you got to go Jameson, even though it doesn't neither of those guys are great starts. I'd go Jameson. Juju was throwing temper tantrums and stuff, even though he got a fair amount of targets last game. I think he ended up with 12 targets, 8 receptions, 30 yards or something. I think it was ugly. What did he do?
Yeah, I'm inclined to say Crowder. I mean, anytime you play the Falcons.
And Crowder.
It's a good matchup.
I mean, the slot receiver in that offense had been getting work since day 1 from Zach Wilson. Braxton Berrios was a fantasy relevant wide receiver while Jamison Crowder was out. Now Jamison Crowder is back. He's already seen work in both games where he's been back. I think you go Jamison Crowder there. And
Zach Wilson looked a lot better. Let's put it this way. What quarterback would you rather have right now, Zach Wilson or Ben Roethlisberger?
Zach Wilson, even though you don't feel great about that either.
But it's clear the answer is Zach Wilson. That's how bad Roethlisberger has been.
Yeah. Slim Reaper, I have Cephas. Starting wide receivers are Hill and Cup.
Okay. Yeah, so hang on to Callaway.
I'd hang on to Callaway too.
Hang on to Callaway.
If you're starting Cephas,
I don't think he's starting him. Starting wide receivers are Hill.
Okay.
Starting wide receivers are Hill and Cup. He has Cephas. So yeah, hang on to Callaway.
Yep.
A little extra wide receiver depth.
Jason B, start one.
Oh, he starts one
defense. There you go.
Okay. Well, I'm going. Would you start the Broncos against? I would still say I like the Panthers this week. I do like their defense this week.
The Panthers D has been good.
They've been good.
The Panthers D has been really good.
And again, I'll keep saying it. I can't chart this. I can't project this. I can't confirm this. But I expect a morale boost in that locker room right now with the acquisition of Stephon Gilmore. I would have to imagine the guys are fired up in that locker room.
Yeah, sometimes that is all it takes. It's just like, oh yeah, yo, the front office is all in. Let's go.
They're all yeah,
boom.
they're yeah.
It feels a lot better than, oh man, yo, this front offense is all about next season already.
Mm-hmm. That
can't feel good. So I mean, you got the inverse has got to be true as well. So I agree. Yep, gambling Minnesota can do that, but start Denver instead. Yeah, you got our answer there.
I think I'm going Carolina.
Slim Reaper, need 2 backs this week. It's ugly. Gainwell, Gaskin, Jamal Williams, Elijah Mitchell, Bolden. Well, I think you go Gainwell for sure. If you need 2 out of Gaskin, Jamal Williams, Elijah Mitchell, and Brandon Bolden, I would go Jamal Williams. He's getting a ton of work, and the offensive coordinators come out every game, and the coaching staff comes out every game and say we should have given Jamal Williams the ball more, and it makes no sense.
I'm going Jamal. He's heavily involved.
Yeah,
he's heavily involved.
And Slim, I gotta admit, I do not watch MMA or boxing, so I don't have a horse in that fight.
I'm not the authority there.
Yep.
Sorry.
Gotta go to another channel for that one.
We're not that we want you to leave, but
no.
I think Fury is the favorite, but
I don't know.
Fury is the favorite, but I never know. Like, I always feel like there's always controversy with some of those like final decisions, and everybody's like, "How did this guy possibly win?"
It's subjective. Like the whole wins and losses in boxing, it's largely objective. It's not something where you can just point and say, "That guy scored a point, so give him 10 points," like in football.
Right.
You know, it's like which guy won the round depends on what you value.
Who won? Who did and then all throughout the round, who was the most effective of the two? Right. It is like it's not objective.
Yeah. Yo, Jason B. I hope it works out. And if we expect to hear about it. If you are not in here next week and we were not correct, then just do your thing. I'm getting tongue-tied. Well, we've been on our stream for 2 hours and 20 minutes. We are going to be shutting this down pretty soon because Nick's got some places to go and things to do. But we're going to... Let's wrap it up with Sheed One's last question. Can you rate my 1-3 team? Lamar Jackson, Alvin Kamara, Alex Collins, Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, wow, Javonte Williams, Sony Michel, Elijah Mitchell, Tony Pollard, Michael Thomas, Rashad Bateman, and Terrace Marshall Jr. Jesus, dude, you got a great team. Damn.
Do you try?
How are you 1-3? I would be.
Do you try to trade one of those wide receivers for a running back? I feel like I would.
I would too. See if you can trade Michael Thomas. For a running back.
Yeah. So here, I guess this would be my thing. I would assume. Or I don't want to assume, but if you're in a league where trades take like 24 hours to process or whatever, if you can't get a trade done between now and kickoff, if you fall to 1-4, so here's the thing about trying to trade Michael Thomas. He just doesn't have that much value right now. Like, what type of running back could you possibly get from Michael Thomas? You're not going to get somebody who you can like automatically plug into your lineup. You're going to get like a depth guy.
I was going with Dynasty Brain. You're not going to get much there if it's a season.
Don't go with Dynasty Brain. This is a season-long league. I'm inclined to say that you try to sell. I hate to do it, but like you try to sell either AJ Brown or CeeDee Lamb.
I'd be selling AJ Brown over CeeDee Lamb.
I don't want to sell either one of them, but if you can get a good running back in return, because Kamara has not been Kamara so far through 5 weeks. Obviously, that can turn around at any time. I would try to flip one of those stud wide receivers for a running back.
Yeah, and I would say AJ Brown got the good news. He's coming back. He looks to be playing. CeeDee Lamb's
have a monster game tomorrow.
Right. CeeDee Lamb, he needs to have a get right game, but I'm not worried about him. Even if he has another dud week, I'm not worried about CeeDee Lamb. You should be able to sell AJ Brown based off the fact that AJ Brown's back. There's nobody else there, and he should have a pretty good game this week. Nick is right. So if you can sell AJ Brown and get a lesser wide receiver and a running back maybe, or pair AJ Brown and maybe Sony Michel, see if you can get a lesser wide receiver and a better running back. See if you can do a swap with somebody and get the exact opposite in value back, because your wide receivers will continue to be strong if you bolster your depth there, but you get a starting running back that's of the caliber of an AJ Brown, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That would.
Yep.
Jason B, I don't know how you do that.
I think we appreciate it.
Yeah, much appreciated.
I think there's a dollar, there's a dollar symbol, there's a bill symbol.
Yeah, our interface doesn't look like your interface, so that if anybody else in the chat can help him out, but thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, and it looks like Slib's trying to help him out. Appreciate it, Slib. Thanks. We'll see you in the morning. We're gonna try to fit in what, John? Hopefully like 20 minutes or so between
whatever time,
the London game and the slate.
Whatever lag there is in between the end of the London game and the beginning of the 1 p.m. games. We'll be here answering questions for you at that time. Hell, we might even get started a little bit earlier. So.
Let's put it this way: if it's a blowout, if the London game's a blowout and people are tuning out and it's not interesting in the fourth quarter, we could jump on early.
We'll be live. But thank you all for tuning in, everybody with us. Thank you for everybody who super chatted. Thank you for everybody who subscribed.
Alex Tan had one question: Elijah Mitchell or Latavius Murray full PPR?
Lat.
I think I go Murray. Yeah, I think I go Murray. They committed to him as their lead back. I don't know that Elijah Mitchell is going to be the lead back. We can speculate that Trey Sermon is going to lose his job to Elijah Mitchell, but that's just a speculation.
Lat has the job.
Latavius has the job.
In the historically most run-heavy offense in the league over the past 3 seasons. You got to go Lat. Yeah. Even if it's half PPR, you got to go Lat. I like Elijah Mitchell a lot.
It's full PPR, but I would still say Latavius Murray.
Yep. Hey, I hope you drafted him, or I hope you win your competitive league, bro. Thanks for tuning in, She. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it.
Right, yeah.
And Jason B, thank you very much. That was very generous of you.
Man.
Very generous of you. Yeah, you didn't need to do that, but thank you very much. Much appreciated. I hope you have.
Hopefully our advice is makes it worth it.
Yep. If anything changes with any of these guys, between now and tomorrow, we'll come with some new analysis. But hope you win your leagues. I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in with us.
Yeah, and, have a great night, guys.
Enjoy waking up tomorrow to some football right off the bat.
Yeah,
that's always fun.
You East Coasters get to experience what it's like to wake up with football. It's nice.
Yep. And thanks, Slim. Thanks for helping out. Appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Yep. Hopefully see you tomorrow.